This week on the show, it's a 2017 Winter Scorecard. It's our first scorecard of the year, and we're going to see if Arena and I can keep up the good pace they had last year. We also have what we call news, and we all find out what happens when somebody doesn't mute their mic. It's a new year for Red Pens on Shadow of the Dragon. Welcome to Shadow of the Dragon. This is episode number 39, and finally the band is back together. What's up, folks?
What?
What's up?
What's up? All right, so before we get into anything, let's do the snazzy introduction.
Hit it, Gord.
All right, joining me tonight, she echoes, it's Cora!
I don't get that, but okay.
Because we were echoing. Because we were having technical difficulties.
But like nobody else is gonna get that.
I just came up with it.
You should
all
come
right,
up
so
with
all right, I should come up with something else.
Yeah.
I had something, but I can't spoil the story. So.
Oh well, that's one for next one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a snazzy introduction next time.
All right.
So what's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Doing well, buddy. How are you doing?
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
First time we're all face to face.
I've been busy getting a boom for my microphone and a pop filter for my microphone, so it doesn't sound like I'm spitting every time I say a P word. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
All right. Don't push it. Don't push it. I'm looking at the spikes on Audacity right now. All right. So yeah, here we go. Another week. We had some exciting. We had an exciting week that we'll get into, but before we get into anything official, Gallios, what have you been doing in game?
I played the story, of course, and I've been playing a lot of World v. World. It's my release at the end of the day, and I've had a lot of RL going on, so getting in game is how I relax at the end of the day. So I've been playing a lot of World v. World so that I can kill opposing players when I get the chance.
Oh, that's it?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I just relaxed in my chair.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Cora?
Yes.
What have you been up to?
I've been working on getting achievements. Gallios actually helped me get some achievements. We were doing Living Story Season 2 achievements. So he helped me in Dry Top. And so did Romo. Romo helped me with the Zephyr's Height, Zephyr's Leap jumping puzzle that's in one of the Living Story Season 2. Yeah, I've never cared about achievements. I just replay the story over and over and over again. So I'm finally like, I'm going to try for some of the achievements. And mostly because I want to get some of the armor skin sets that are available there and trinkets and whatnot. So sometimes it's fun, but sometimes they're very frustrating, and you definitely need.
Should have heard her.
Team members.
I have.
It was fun. It was really fun. I had a blast playing with you, Cora. It was so fun. And to be honest, I wasn't even sure it was you at first because I thought I know this person. I know why does that name sound familiar? Who is this person? And I looked at the I looked at your gamer ID and I was like, oh, that's Cora. So
yeah, because I was on my
I felt
Revenant
really bad after that, but yeah, it was fun. I kept laughing because you kept saying having a lot of expletives when we were trying to get those achievements done. It was the one with the guy that throws the bombs.
Yeah.
And Dry Top, Gord. It was so funny.
All
I'd hear is all I'd see on the screen is, dang it.
Because there's one of the ones where you have to get the hidden crystal. So you're in the final fight to defeat Aerith before he chases after the Master of Whispers, and you have to run on top of the sand pile and then do the air leap up to a ledge, and then air leap up to another ledge, and then sun dash through a wall and defeat a bunch of Inquest. And I couldn't get the first leap. Like, I'd leap and fall short. I'd leap and I'd fall short. And so I was just getting very frustrated. And
I was wishing I had a Mesmer just so I could board her up because it was so comical.
So you haven't tried to
what
do...
did it take me? It took me like a half hour. I mean it. I'm not good at jumping. I've gotten better. Gallios, I've gotten better over the years.
So you haven't tried to do the llamas yet? The legendary llamas?
No.
Oh, girly.
Yeah, I'm so bad at jumping. I'm so bad at it. I think it was probably literally like a half hour before I got the jump and got all the way up to the top. And yeah, and then Gord just follows me right up. And I'm like, I kind of hate your face right now. You just bounce, and then you're there.
Sorry.
But we got all the 3 achievements from that story mission. So right now I'm redoing the Concordia incident.
Ooh,
and
I need that. I need achievements in that.
Well, you're welcome to join me because I need all the achievements in it.
It's tough.
And,
It's tough.
yeah.
I'm going to be a dick.
Yeah. One of them specifically, when you look at the guide, says like this one is really hard to get if you're soloing it, which means it's impossible for me to get. And then there's another one that says this one's really hard to get if you have multiple people because the event scales. I'm like, okay.
There's a way that you can do both, but you have to split parties. That's it. So,
well, Gord and Gallios, you are welcome to join me sometime soon, and we can go for that. And then the other thing was I was looking to transfer servers over to the server you guys are on, so that I could finally do World versus World with Gallios.
So awesome.
And get my commander spoon. And the server is full. I cannot join.
We've had
so many people were waiting for it to open, and when we went single server again, they opened it immediately. It almost filled up, almost immediately.
Yeah. So what I need you guys to do is join a different server that's low capacity, so that way we can fight together.
You could come on. What is it? Dark Haven. I don't even know the name of the other server. It's DH, whatever that is. It's
Drunk
pretty
horse.
low population, and I've got an alt account there.
Don't do that. Come to JQ.
I'm gonna try. I don't know what it's gonna take.
Don't try it on reset. Don't try it on reset. Just
reset.
Just check it when you can.
When was reset?
Friday's reset.
Okay,
so
I don't
not a good day.
pay attention to.
Yeah, today's not a good day. Usually probably Tuesday, Wednesday night. If you go around maybe 9 o'clock your time, it might start opening up. The window's very small because, well, for whatever reason, I don't know why. But anyway, yeah. What else you guys been up to?
That's about it, really, for me. I know a lot of real life stuff going on, so I've been working my tail off. So I don't have anything in game that I've been playing except for the fun stuff I did with Cora. That was a blast. So what have you been doing, Gord?
Yes, tell us.
I can't talk about what I've been doing.
Oh.
No, we know. You can tell everybody you've been playing another game. It's
blasphemy.
He's been cheating on us.
I have been. No, well, I've been playing Guild Wars 2 every night. We did some Fractals. Our old Fractal group got together and did some 90 plus Fractals, which was fun.
Oh, we got your gift of battle.
Yeah, I got my gift of battle. I had logged in WW Night just after Gallios logged out, so Winters was ecstatic to see me and immediately handed me the taco. We had a good night.
That's what she does.
we pushed Watergate with Thornton on SOS, I think, and got a pretty good response. Oh, that was me and you. We pushed Firekeep.
Right when I said we're going into the killing zone.
Yeah. I didn't make it through the door, which was fine. It was hot, but
it was very hot.
It was a good time. I got my gift of battle. So I was working on Flameseeker Prophecies, which I put on hold because I got Dawn for 320 gold off of the trading post, and so I'm going to make Dawn and then Eternity. So that will be legendary number 10, and then immediately after legendary number 11, and then I have to save up my stuff for legendary number 12. And Cora is shaking her head and rolling her eyes at the same time.
No, I'm not shaking my head at you doing all this. I'm actually shaking it at me, because one of the things I was going to work on this past week and then decided not to, and I tweeted about it, was there's one of the achievements style guide. It's you collect a bunch of the books, and the one book that I'm missing is Cost on Cost.
That made me cry laughing.
And I can't get it because I need a bunch of these vicious fangs or whatever, and then I also need ectos. And I was looking up I can just buy the vicious fangs on the trading post, and it'd be 69 gold.
No,
and I'm like, I have 4 gold. That's not happening.
How many laurels do you have?
I don't know.
Check your laurels. Go to the laurel vendor. Buy the T6 bag.
Okay.
As many as you can. One bag gives you 3 T6 mats. So open up as many, and whatever you get that you don't need, sell on TP in order to get what you do need.
But then, but if I sell the stuff, what if I do something else in the future and I need that stuff?
Then you do it again. Are you ever going to make a legendary? Are you ever going to need a stack of all the T6 mats? All 8
I don't know. I might someday.
Don't hoard. John Smith doesn't like that.
I hoard a little bit of the crafting materials because I don't have all the crafting professions leveled up all the way, so I hoard everything so that way every few months I go in and I work on leveling up a new. One of the other.
I'll hoard everything, and then when I get to a point where I need gold and I don't have Black Line claim tickets, I will start cashing in mats, whatever I have. And if you go to GW2 efficiency, it will show you what is the highest value things in your bank. And sometimes it could be giant eyes, it could be the large skulls were hot at one time. There was the molten lodestones were hot at one time because of the Primordius weapons and stuff like that. So sometimes you can find a sleeper material and make a lot of money really quick. So, but don't straight out buy the materials you need. Use the laurels, especially if you're not using them and logging in consistently. It's, some people might not agree with me because they want a Baron von Scruffy butt or whatever, but I'd rather have the mats. So, my 2 cents. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I did my gift of battle. I need 400 tiers of Ascalon, so I have to run 4 paths of AC. Romo hooked me up with some leather, but that's really all I have left to get is the leather, and I'll be able to make my gift of Dawn. This is the first legendary I've ever made where I had my gift of Fortune and gift of Mastery done before my gift of the Precursor, which is ludicrous. And it's all because I didn't want to have to spend 260 gold on leather because I have no T6 leather. But Cora, you can roll your eyes and you can say I told you so, because I am crafting the new legendary torch just so I can put it on my freaking Norn, because it's going to look like a big honking chandelier in that dude's hand, and I can't wait to do it. So I am making the torch, the new torch.
Did I not say that you?
Well, but it's only because I'm raiding too, because I'm doing Condi PS build now, warrior for my thing. I can't have a plain ass torch. See, that's what happens. I make the legendary, and then I can't use the legendary anymore. So you can say I told you so, because you did, and I was adamant. I'll never make a Heart of Thorns legendary again. Well, guess what?
You know why? But I'm not. It's not a. I'm not gonna rub it in your face. That's generally not my personality. They're fun. It is something to work on. I think I just bought another. I haven't made any single legendary. I think I've gotten to tier 2 on Howler, and then have gotten stuck because I have to make like 500 different war horns, and I don't have the crafting all the way up. But I bought another tier 1 legendary book thing or whatever because it's just fun. It's fun to go in and just be like, here's all the stuff that I get to work on. Like it's content. It's fun to work on. If you like making legendaries, make legendaries. I think what has me laughing is like you like you're in denial of how much you enjoy making the legendaries. You're like, I'm never gonna make another legendary. I'm
Oh,
like,
the process
no,
sucks.
you totally are because you enjoy it. Like,
no, I
it's
don't.
not. It's not. You
It's
don't
the
enjoy.
thrill of the conquest.
No, I don't
that he
enjoy making
enjoys.
it.
Some writers say like, well, I don't enjoy writing. I enjoy having written, and you are that way with legendaries. You don't enjoy making the legendary. You enjoy having made a legendary. So,
That
yeah,
I agree with. Yes.
So yeah, so own it. Like there's no shame in that of being like, yeah, I hate the process, but I enjoy having the product.
It's the thrill of the conquest.
There is no thrill of the conquest with this torch. I'm only making it because it is absolutely ridiculous. I can't wait to swing this freaking. I can't wait to swing this torch. Is what it comes down to. It's so ridiculous. It's in oh yeah, in the hand of a Norn, it's gonna look like, I don't know. It's gonna look like a huge freaking thing. I can't wait to make it.
So what you're saying is that you're really excited by the appearance of this legendary and that they sort of nailed it.
No, it's kind of ugly, but just the ridiculousness of it being in my Norn's hand is gonna be awesome.
But you really want it. So
I do want it, yeah.
Like if it was something where you're like, man, I really can't, it's ugly and it's stupid, blah, 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 then you wouldn't have this desire to go make it.
Yeah.
But there's something about it that is calling at your soul.
The particle effects are awesome.
Me, Gord, come make me. And so you're going to make it.
All right, yeah, so I'm going to make it. So my other side project is I started complaining about Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2 quite a bit, and I started playing Guild Wars 1, and that helped a little bit, but I decided that I was going to start playing some other free-to-play MMOs just to kind of see what they're like. And because I've only ever played Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, I really don't, and WoW, but WoW's a completely different animal compared to Guild Wars. So I really don't have anything to compare it against. So I've been playing Terra, which is free-to-play, and it's actually kind of fun.
What?
Terra.
What is it? Is it like spaceships?
The only reason, no, it's fantasy, but the only reason why I picked it is because it has an action combat system similar to Guild Wars 2, where you can dodge. You get a skill bar similar to WoW, so you have 2 bars. I think it's like 12 keys, so 24 keys on your skill bar. You could swap it, you know. But it's free to play. I haven't paid a dime for it yet, and I had a lot of fun. I'm playing a Lancer. So big, hefty tank called Gord the Norn. I was in a guild and they threw me out because I didn't say hi when I logged in. But whatever. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's definitely strange. The only thing I don't like about it is the whole thing is action cam. So you have to press escape to use your cursor to do to look at quests and stuff like that. But I've been doing that and having fun.
It can be fun to take a break. I have the Division on my PC. I haven't played it in months, and it was months after it came out before I finally got my copy. But I have fun in the Division. I'm just, like all things, I'm not the best. And that's, some of it is practice. I need to go in there and I need to play it more to get better at it. But I would love to have friends to run around with.
It's on sale. It's on sale on Steam, the Division.
So, okay, listeners, if anybody wants to get the Division for PC and then play with me,
it'll be off sale by the time the show releases.
I don't care. They could still play with, and maybe they want to get it and they'll have it. You stop bursting my bubble.
Maybe I'll buy it and play with you. I'm trying to look for other things because it's like Gallios says, you don't have a lot of time. You come home from work, stressful day. I've been really busy between both jobs and the house, and that's my release. And when I log in and get salty and everything else, it carries over into everything. So stepping away and taking a little time to do other things.
Maybe it is. You just need to take a break. Guild Wars has been such your thing. You haven't gotten that perspective of playing other games where you see things that they do well and things that they're not doing well. And then you can look at Guild Wars 2 with better perspective of going, oh, that thing that I thought sucked or made me angry, actually they do it really well compared to this other game, which was terrible. Like you said, it gives you perspective on mechanics and on story and community.
Yep.
I think overall, no matter what we get salty about on this show or our feelings of disappointment or whatever, Guild Wars 2 is still my game. The community is still the community I want to be a part of. I still love it. I can't see myself ever leaving it. So, and that's me. And I know you're doing like
I'm doing
faces.
my face. I'm doing my face. We'll get into it next week. I can't even get into it this week because
I like
there are
Gallios'
rules in
face
place.
better. He does he's doing a thing with his eyebrow, and I approve because I can't do that.
Neither can I. All right, so that's gonna wrap up our intro. Busy week this week. We're gonna take a quick break and be right back with the news. And we're back. All right, so before we get into any of the news, the biggest news story happened on Tuesday. There was a massive leak of what is apparently now actual screenshots from in the game, in the expansion.
Oh, I didn't hear about this. That's a bummer.
And yeah, it's a huge bummer. I, for one, did not mind covering leaks. So when it comes to leaks, my gut reaction to any leak is that it's BS. Because even if you do see a screenshot of something that's in the game that somebody is beta testing, it doesn't mean it's going to be in the game. Lake Doric, the Lake Doric map that leaked in China, that was a thing. That was not a map. It was just leftover. It was the original concept of the map that was never fluffed up, never fixed, made it into the game, wasn't used as the final product. So you never know what's coming. So my stance was I'll look at a leak, and my stance for the show was I'm going to cover leaks. A lot of the other podcasts don't cover leaks. They don't mention leaks. They don't refer to leaks and everything else. I didn't have a problem doing it until Tuesday because the leak that came out on Tuesday was staggering. It baffles my mind how much was actually leaked and the audacity of the person or the people that were involved in the leak. So things are going to change.
We're keeping this spoiler free, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about it.
Okay, good, because yeah, I didn't see anything about the leak. I'm going to do now that I know that it's happened, I'm going to do my best to avoid it.
People, well, on our Discord channel, I made a channel called Spoilerific Discussion. Somebody did drop a link in there to some of the screenshots that were linked. Now, I am of the opinion that if a leak is out there and I decide for myself that I'm going to go and look at this leak and possibly spoil the next expansion for myself, that's fine. This leak has been ongoing for over a year and has progressively become more and more and more in detail. It has exposed quite a bit of what is coming in the next expansion, including
That's just such a bummer.
Including the area, including just about all the elite specs, including the WoW feature of the expansion. And at this point, I will not allow this show to harbor a culture where it is okay, almost laughable, for somebody to leak the amount of information that was leaked. So we are no longer covering any spoilers. Nothing. Honestly,
no. Yeah.
If I see a spoiler, I'm probably going to go look at it because I was the kid that peeked in my presence, Mo. But I'm not acknowledging them on the show anymore. I might make mention that there was a leak, but I'm not going into any kind of specifics with it, merely because the leaks that came from inside, either from a partner who had access to it for beta testing or to the contracted QA staff. There was no watermarks. It wasn't a beta. This was straight game pictures. So when it gets to that level, there's been a lot of jokes. There's been a lot of laughing about it. When you sign an NDA, you are agreeing to keep your mouth shut. And that person did not do that. I do not want to be affiliated with that. My co-hosts don't want to be affiliated with that. So therefore, going forward, we're not mentioning anything else about leaks. That's the policy for the show. So
I mean, honestly, I hope they find out the person or persons responsible, and 2, I hope they sue. Like, I hope they sue those people severely, because this is not acceptable. It's like you said, you signed an NDA, you signed a non-disclosure agreement. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna put this out there to the public, and the whole time you're thinking, yeah, I am. I'm totally putting this out there.
It was big too.
Yeah, and that's ruining the game for people like me. I don't want to be spoiled. Love it or hate it when it comes, I want to experience it for myself. I don't want to know anything about the story, about game mechanics that are coming. I want to be surprised. I want to be able to experience it for myself without going like, oh, well, I know we're already expecting X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to form ideas about it before actually getting to see it and actually getting to play it. And either way, I'm going to go in, I'll be disappointed because I was either expecting it to be great or like, no, it's not acceptable. You want to spoil it for yourself. You want to go in and see the betas or play it and know what's coming. Whether or not you're an employee, you're getting paid, or like your partner, whatever, that's your choice. You want to data mine stuff? Again, that is...
Well, let me be clear, because this was another point that I want to make. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm sorry to interrupt, but none of this was data mined. None of it. And the major data miner for Guild Wars 2 is that shaman. And when he data mines anything that would spoil the story, anything that would spoil a map, anything like that, he does not release it. And data mining is kind of getting pushed in with this. This previous leak was somebody who was QA testing, who had signed a non-disclosure agreement and leaked information that they had.
Yeah, it was way too clean to be anything other than
there was no watermarks
gameplay.
in it. It was on the ArenaNet's test server. It wasn't an employee.
They've got to figure, like, they have to know that.
From what I've heard, they know. Yeah,
I mean, the one of the previous studios I was at, there was leaks. There was a leak that happened. Pictures were taken during an all hands meeting and leaked. And this, like, you think like, oh, this is a massive studio. How are you gonna, like, it's an all hands meeting. How are you gonna figure it out? They figure it out. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's this big. Like, you were screwing yourself over. And it's not just, oh, well, I just got fired at this one company. Like, no, you're very quickly going to get blacklisted in the industry because people talk. You're going to, will you go to the next job interview? Oh, well, I see you got fired. Or if you don't put the company down that fired you for it, well, then you have to explain that period of, like, that blank period on your resume. Oh, well, I had a job, but I got fired. Well, why'd you get fired? Well, I leaked. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to hire you. I mean, they don't even have to say, yeah, we're not going to hire you because we can't trust you. They'll just be like, oh, okay, thank you for coming in the interview. And amongst themselves go, we're not hiring that person.
Yeah.
Or they'll talk to somebody who goes like, oh, yeah, we're looking at such and such. Have you worked with you? Oh, I know a friend who worked at that studio. Let me ask them what they know about that person. Oh, yeah, that person's a leaker. They totally leaked vital information.
I mean, at that point, I don't think they even care. To me, this was an aggressive attack against ArenaNet, and I hope to see something. But as far as, I'll be honest with listeners. If I see spoilers or if I see a leak, I'm going to look it up. I'll definitely take a look at it. But we're not gonna cover anything or even acknowledge them on the show. I might say that there was a leak and it's BS or something, because everybody should make their own decision about it. But as far as the show goes, we're not going to be a part of a culture that believes it's okay to say you're going to do something, not keep your word, and do something so egregious, because it was. It was. So,
and it's like it's similar to piracy. Like, the studio, these people are working very hard to make this experience for the fans. And for you to go out there and leak this, like you're hurting.
It was
You're
bad.
hurting a lot of people.
Yep. So that's it. That's the last you're going to hear of any leak. And that's that. We're washing our hands of it and moving on. All
Good.
right. So episode 5 of Living Story Season 3 is out. And we're not going to talk about it till next week. So we're kind of kicking around the idea that I feel personally that it's going to be too long to wait 2 weeks to talk about it. So we're kicking around the idea of doing another show next week. We haven't finalized it yet, but we'd like to do a show next week. So we'll have back-to-back releases so we can discuss the Living Story episode 5 because it was a big one. But nothing about it tonight. But we will touch upon the Ask Me Anything that came, which honestly to me was really not that groundbreaking. There was a couple of things that caught my eye. And the first thing was Mo kind of touched on the leaks, and I don't think his wording was quite right. He basically referred to these content releases that we get as presents, and if we want to peek at our presents then and spoil all our fun, then that's our decision, but don't make the decision for everybody else. I'm not quite sure that the wording was right for that, because I don't see something that I pay for as a present.
Well, I think he was just using. I mean, you said just a few minutes ago when we were talking about the leaks, like you were the type of kid to peek at your presents. So
Yeah.
I think he's just using that same sort of metaphor as like, we have this surprise for you. We're gonna wrap it up in nice gift wrap. We're gonna put a bow on it, and we're gonna stick it under the tree, or we're gonna put it on the kitchen table for your birthday. But we put a lot of thought into picking out the right stuff for you to hopefully so you can be excited. And there's somebody there who wants to go look in the parents' closet, who wants to unwrap it and know ahead of time. That's an individual's decision to go.
Absolutely, that
check
I
it
agree
out.
with.
But when
But
it's not your present alone, when it's a present that's for your sibling or for your friend, and you went into your friend's closet and pulled it out and said, "Look what they're getting you."
yeah, I understand that, but I don't know. I don't think that the way he worded it went over very well, at least with a couple people I speak to. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. The biggest thing that he announced was that he did say that the Living Story Season 6 or Season 3 Chapter 6 will be releasing in 2 to 3 months, but he said they're going to keep the release cadence as if it were an episode. So episode 5, then episode 6, then the expansion pack, then episode 1. And I didn't see a lot of discussion about this, but to me, it sounds like what he's saying is we're going to have 2 to 3 months between the end of Living Story Season 3 Chapter 6 and the launch of the expansion, but then we're going to have 2 to 3 months roughly for Living Story Season 4 Chapter 1 after the expansion, which is huge news to me. They said they'll be making some allowances for the fact that shipping in an expansion pack can be a big deal logistically. I don't know if he's just trying to hype people up and say, hey, you're going to get Season 4, Chapter 1, 3 months after the expansion, and then be like, okay, well, we didn't quite make it because we had this to fix and that to fix, so now it's going to be 6 months. So I don't know if he's kind of putting a placeholder or if that's the ongoing plan, depending on how this expansion launches. For a positive, that's great for content. It seems like even with an expansion, we're going to get 2 to 3 months between new content releases, which is very impressive. But that doesn't speak a lot to me to the size of the expansion if they feel that they are going to have to release the next episode, the first chapter of the next episode 3 months after the expansion launches. That's saying small expansion to me, personally.
Well, it could be. Or it could be a decent size, and they have just set a higher bar for themselves. We don't know.
I don't see them releasing new content when there's still new content to play. My fear is that this is going to be that the expansion is really going to be the size of the entire living story, just all released all at once, which would give us roughly a 10-hour story to play in the expansion.
I don't know. I would think that it would be larger. I mean,
I would think that would be larger too.
After the feedback they got from fans saying, yeah, we feel like Heart of Thorns was too short. I mean, if they're going to call this an expansion, you know, I would imagine that it's going to be that they would take that feedback and go, okay, yeah, we need to make it longer.
A lot of people said Heart of Thorns was too short because we were done with it and there was a 1-year content drop, though. If you are near complete, with the story, near complete with the new achievements, and the next Living Story chapter releases, and you still have the stuff to go back to and constantly go back to, it could be about the same size as Hot, maybe a little bit larger than Hot, and that's how they're playing it. I don't know. This is all my speculation. But if you're saying that you're going to release something, the next Living Story chapter 3 months after, and if you say that that's 6, so that's another year till the next expansion. Because it's, well, I can't say that. That'll be next week.
I don't know. I would think it's going to be bigger, and that they're just setting a higher bar for themselves. And I mean, we know there's so many people that go in and they're like, you know, I'm gonna binge this and you get the whole expansion pack done in a day or 2 days, and then you know those people are immediately like, well, I finished it. You know, I took 2 days off of work. I haven't slept. I've been chugging Red Bulls and I finished it. And now it's a content drought. The expansion's been out less than a week. You can't call content drought that quickly, but there are people that do. So maybe they're looking at, there are going to be people who are going to just plow through and they're going to want that next chunk of story. I mean, we talk about it. I don't play for the achievements. I play for the story. So I go straight through and I get my story, and then I'm done with the quote unquote content very soon. And yeah, it would be very exciting for me to then be able to go, oh, okay, I just have to wait 2 or 3 months and I get the next chunk of story. The fact that I am just now going back and working on achievements for Living Story Season 2, like that tells you how I play. Like, achievements are very low priority. If there was story out right now, well, I mean, I just finished the story. If there was another, you know, chapter 6 or whatever out right now, I'd be working on that. I wouldn't be like, achievements, what?
Yeah, I think that might be what they're doing, but we'll see. I'm not gonna speak too much on that. All right, so the other thing that I want to touch on is WW. Really big, good changes are coming to WW by the end of the year. Womp womp. And honestly, I feel like we've heard this before. I'm sorry, but I do. What they said is skirmishes, they're looking at giving rewards to skirmishes. They're looking at a couple other things. The other thing that somebody had brought up that I can't find myself, but it is in the AMA, is that they are bringing Ascended Gear vendors. Woohoo. That's not a good thing because we could see it in PvP and we could see it in Fractals. So what's it going to be? It's going to be 2,000 badges of honor, probably 100 Grandmaster tokens, or 10. I don't remember what the recipe is. It might be 10 Grandmaster tokens and 15 gold per piece. So nothing really to get excited about for me. I think that as far as the AMA goes, what they've revealed that they are going to release for WW is very disappointing.
Gallios, let's get your thoughts on that.
On Ascended Gear?
Yeah, so like
personally, I would like it because I don't have the time and the resources and all of that crap to do the crafting of Ascended Gear. And you are at a fair disadvantage without it in World v World.
But you have to craft 10 Grandmaster crafting tokens, which take leather, which take a bunch of other materials. I don't even know what the recipe is because I'll probably never do it. So you still have to craft. It's not like you don't have to craft.
crafting that one thing versus
with the leather, it's more expensive. It's probably
Well, it's a good thing I hoard all of my stuff.
well, if that's good for you.
I'm a hoarder.
It'd probably be good for me as well. So while it's not exciting for you, I feel like it is an option for people like me and Gallios.
Come on, it's such a bait and switch. This is, oh gee, look, we gave you a Ascendant Gear vendor. Why are you saying that we don't care about WW? Because
salty.
It's not salty. Listen, I don't log into WW anymore for a reason. I only go when I miss my guildies, and it's because WW is decaying, and they're watching it decay. I'm sorry, but they are.
I can't disagree with that. I still love the game mode because it's easy for me to get in and get out, no harm, no foul. A lot of the other things that I'd love to enjoy doing, i.e. raids, i.e. fractals, I don't have the ability to get in and get out without screwing it up for everybody else. So like if I get in World v World, the cool thing is if I'm running in a group and I happen to be the only guardian, I can leave and it's no big whoop. I don't feel so bad. But I know in my quest this year of trying to do Nevermore, or last year, before I got derailed, not being able to play at all for 6 months, the biggest problem I had was like I wanted to be a little bit more competitive in WW, and to do that I had to craft Ascended Gear to get just that little bit more, because everybody else has got it. I mean, I shouldn't say everybody else, but the great majority of the World v Worlders that I want to compete against, I'm not all for just being all excited about beating someone who just started World v World or who is up leveled in World v World. I want to be able to compete against the guys that are really good, because I find that's going to improve my game a little bit. I used a lot of the materials I could have used for my legendary for that. And if I was spending hours farming and all of that crap, probably wouldn't be a big deal. I probably wouldn't even have this stance on that I think it's fine, and I'm actually kind of glad, because I spend my time in there. I will get my rewards in there for spending my time in there, and it's going to pay me back, which right now I don't really have anything. There's nothing to get paid back.
No, it's going to take quite a few blues and greens to pay back that Ascendant Gear, buddy. I'm sorry, but it is. It's
blues and greens.
We'll talk about this in the next segment, because I don't think my score for WW is going to shock anyone. All right. So
my score is not that high either. So.
Yeah. I have reasons.
My score doesn't exist.
All right. So the last thing I want to touch upon is Legendary Armor released, and it was the subject of the AMA. And the first thing that I have to say is bravo on the animations, because the animations actually made me want to craft the heavy armor now. It's not so auto body. It kind of explodes now with a magic, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a magic wispy thing that comes out of it. The helmet I'm not a big fan of, but the legendary armor itself looks okay. It's not, I do agree it's not anything epic, but the transformation is pretty epic, and they did a really good job from what we saw in Halloween to what we saw on release day.
It's much better.
Yeah.
It's very cool looking compared to what we saw the first time.
I think the medium armor gets beat up a little bit. I don't think it looks that bad. The light armor is definitely the best looking. But along with that came the realization that your back pieces, your weapons, and everything else noticeably float off of your back. Like, very noticeably are not connected to you at all in-game. In the AMA, they had shared with us that the hovering back pieces were done that way so that they wouldn't clip. And it kind of got the community up in arms, and now, wait for it, Paul Ella put out a poll today to ask players what they would rather have, clipping or a floating back piece.
No, I didn't look at the poll.
I didn't look either. What's the...
That's the poll. Do players who crafted and who waited 2 years for legendary armor and got their legendary insights and got all their the mountain of materials that they had to put into these pieces, would they rather have clipping or a floating back piece?
Okay, I don't understand your face because this is like a legitimate
That's
issue.
ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You're asking players, what do you want? Do you want a floating back piece or do you want clipping in the armor? How about neither?
I was gonna say the answer's got to be neither. It can't be either one.
This is supposed to be the most sought after items in the game, and that is how you're handling it. You're looking at, you have this confused look on your face. I'm confused by that. I don't understand the mentality of, oh, it's broken, let's have a vote. You can pick this broken thing or this broken thing. Which do you want, players?
Well, I guess I can understand where you're coming from. Like, yeah, ideally, you want the back piece on your back. That's how it's worn with all the other armors. But I part of me can understand where they're coming from of like, we designed this to be epic armor and we thought like, well, one way to have the cool back features and all this stuff is, well, we'll just make the back pieces float off of the back so that it doesn't interact with the armor and cause problems.
But there's no cool back effect.
Oh.
It might make a little bit more, at least as far as I've seen, there's no cool back effect. The cool effect of the armor is the transformation, and everything comes out into the front. The heavy armor has spikes that come off the shoulder, spikes that come up off of the helmet.
Well, I mean, I just like with armor that's currently out there, because I mix and match. I do notice at times there are clipping issues where if I'm putting on these pants from this armor set and I'm putting on this coat from another armor set, oh, the pants clip into the coat, or the shoes clip into the pants because I'm mix and matching. And I mean, that was one of the reasons why they said they were, switching to outfits, or I read someone said that that's why they switched to outfits, because they didn't want to deal with clipping issues anymore.
The issue is, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, and anybody that's out there that has real programming, graphical programming knowledge or something, feel free to correct me. The issue that I have with this is you have to pick broken option A or broken option B, because they said in the AMA that they are not willing to move off of a DirectX. They're not willing to move into a new engine. And what they're trying to do is not able to be done in a 12-year-old engine. Whether it's had upgrades or not, they can't do it. And now they're asking players who have invested 2 years into gathering and crafting and everything else to pick which broken option they want because they can't fix it. Why is that okay? Take everything else aside. Take clipping versus floating and everything else aside. Why is it okay to have your players vote on which broken option that they want?
Well, because I don't think they thought of having the backpack as a floating thing as a break. I think they were thinking of it as, this is going to fix, like, this is a fix. This is how we won't have clipping issues. Like, we're designing, we're putting this here so it's not going to cause a problem. And then suddenly people are upset about it. So they're honestly asking, like, look, we had the floating backpack, so there's not going to be clipping. If you don't want the floating backpack, then there's going to be clipping. Like, tell us which one you're more okay with. Like,
neither.
And to which you're saying, like, okay, well, they're in this 12-year-old engine and that's the problem and they're not willing to change. Upgrading the engine to a game that's currently out, I mean, that's a big deal. While for, their plans for Guild Wars 3 might be to work with whatever the newest engine is going to be and the newest specs, like, they can't do it for Guild Wars 2. They have to work with the canvas they currently have.
But so then why make the armor in the first place? Why promise something back in October of September of 2014, I want to say, is when they announced raids and legendary armor coming out and everything else. If you can't do it, why do it?
But they did do it. They did make armor, but you're saying the whole armor is ruined because you can't have your plushy backpack stuck to the back? It
does break the immersion, I guess. It's important to people.
It's the magic. It's magic that it causes the armor to explode out and forward is causing the backpack piece to float off the back. Like, say within lore that if it was on the back that the magic wouldn't work, or like it would burn up the backpack, so it's got to float behind you. Like,
okay.
I don't see that as a break to me, but I'm
But
not.
you didn't make the armor.
I'm not somebody who's going to try and make that armor set. I can't.
Yeah.
So I don't.
This is getting more and more into. I hate to do this, but this is getting more and more into the it's too hard category. I know that they can do better than this. They can't do better with the tools that they have, but they can do better than this. The studio can. We all know that. And, you see the drastic changes that they made in what they showed us from early beta. They were working on it. From that transformation to what we got in game is completely different on the heavy armor. The light armor is pretty cool. The transformation is a little underwhelming on medium armor. I don't think it's that bad. I like it, but I didn't make it, so I'm not going to judge it. But I mean, to me, I don't know. To me, that it's like pick which broken thing you want and buy this back piece because we need more money. I mean,
from a design aspect, I can see that. Okay, this is how the game works. Players wear backpacks. So the armor that you design for this legendary armor set has to take that into consideration. And so that they can have their backpack and have this epic armor and have the transformation. And yeah, that should have been designed in at the front. But for whatever reasons, whatever stages decided that, well, hey, we want to do this cool thing, but to do that there would be clipping. So what if we just have the backpack float magically off of their back instead? Everybody who looked at it said, yeah, I don't see why that's a problem.
That's exactly what happened. But the people that made the armors, a lot of people spoke out against it. And that's what they're doing. In my opinion, I don't know. I find it highly, almost ludicrous to say, pick which broken option you want. I mean, I do. Me personally, if I had made the armor, I would hide my back piece. My back piece is not that important to me. But there are people that made ad infinitum who went through that and crafted that, and they can't wear it. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a pretty weird thing, and it's a common theme in a lot of stuff they do. It's too hard. We can't fix it, so we're just going to move on. The other thing that came out of it is Series 2 legendaries are going to be released at the cadence of one per release. So we will get one in Chapter 6 of the current living story. We will get one with the expansion. We will get one with the next living story. So they said that it's going to go into Living Story Season 4. They also said that they will not be making any more legendary armors. They feel that one set of legendary armor is enough for the game, and they will not be making any more legendary weapons.
Didn't they say that before?
No, they said they were putting Series 2 legendary weapons. Series 2 legendary weapons were supposed to come with Heart of Thorns, the entire set. So the assumption from the players, and I'm sure the assumption from the dev team, would be that each expansion would bring a new set of legendaries. Not anymore. What we have is what we have.
No sets, no legendaries, period.
That's my understanding. No more legendary armors. They said straight out, no more legendary armors, and they don't plan to make a Series 3 set of legendaries.
I mean, there's part of me that's, even though I don't make the legendaries, I just do the first part. There's part of me that's disappointed by that. There's part of me that wonders, like you said, if this is an indicator of Guild Wars 3 on the way. Of if they're saying, like, you look, we're trying to wrap up the story that's happening in Guild Wars 2, and then we'll be moving on. So putting all that dev resources into Series 3 when it's taking us this long to do Series 2 in our current systems would take away from the efforts that they're putting to the next project, the next game.
Yeah. I doubt it. I don't think they're developing the next game yet. This is more in line to the statement made by NCSoft in Q1 of 2016, where NCSoft said that they realized that Guild Wars 2 profits however the Koreans figure out their profits, but they said it was down, but the way they were going to combat that was with more frequent expansion packs. So I think this is where we're heading. I don't want to make a final decision. To their credit, I don't know what's coming with the expansion. And it reminds me, the cadence as I see it right now almost reminds me of how people consume television now. You know, it's very popular on Netflix. Netflix makes a series. They drop an entire series, 24 episodes or 18 episodes, whatever it is, and you can sit down and you can watch it at your leisure. You can watch the entire season in a weekend. You can watch the entire season over the course of 3 months. And it almost seems like this might be the dev style that they're moving to, which is promising if they can pull it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does speak to, and there's been many articles, the way we are consuming media is changing. The way our attention spans, the way media can retain us is changing. And yeah, Netflix changed that. Streaming has changed that. I mean, they can't stay stuck in the way it used to be, the way people used to consume media and stay relevant if they're still thinking like back in the 90s where it was like, oh, once a week episode, here you go, and then we're going to have a break period. Yeah, I mean, things have changing. Like, was it Hulu has the Handmaid's Tale, which just released, and I was all set to, pick a weekend, sit down and binge watch the whole thing. And then I saw, oh, they only released the first 3 episodes, and then it's an episode a week for season 1. And it sounds silly. It's first world issues. I saw that and I went, well, I'm not going to start watching it right now then. I'm going to wait until all of season 1 is out, and maybe right before season 2 comes out. That's when I'll go watch it. I don't want to have to start it and then not be able to watch the next episode immediately.
Yeah.
So I recognize, it has changed me. Netflix just released season 2 of Sense8 today.
Mm-hmm.
Whole season dropped. Guess what I'm doing this weekend, guys?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can get behind that if that's where they're going. I have to see it first. And change is always hard. We don't know what it's doing. It's very easy to sit back when you don't know what's going on behind the scenes and pick it apart. But I don't know. We'll talk more about that next week.
Here's another thing to think about.
I don't want to think anymore.
No. I mean, this isn't that. Well, I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to say it anyways. The people who are working at the studio right now, and they're hiring new people still.
They're up to 400.
Are not the people. And a lot of those people are not the people that started with Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2 or even Heart of Thorns. Like, we're dealing with essentially a whole new studio. Some of the people are still there, but some people in key positions are brand new. And we knew there was a shakeup. We knew there was problems internally. Mm-hmm. We still don't know what all the problems were going into Heart of Thorns. And now they've brought in new people. There's been restructuring. There's still, I'm sure, restructuring, trying to get things going well for the fans. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody at that studio is thinking or is not thinking, what can we do to make this a better game for our players? Because even if you're coming at it from the capitalist mentality of we're in it to make money, the only way you can continue to make money is if you make your fans happy. So how can we make the fans happy? They're all thinking that.
Stop me.
Oh, God. Here it comes.
Cora wins the game.
What was the word?
Started talking about them making money. All right, so this is the first Gord rant. So just to explain to everybody out there, there was a topic that I have in mind. So if one of my co-hosts said a trigger word, and Cora's running away, but if one of my
here, I've got my headphones.
But if one of my co-hosts said something, it would trigger the Gord rant. I have 60 seconds to do my rant, and then I will shut my mouth and give my esteemed co-host a chance to counter. But do not say anything while the music plays. You guys got it? All right. Yes, ArenaNet does need to make money, but how can you say you need to make money when you're giving 3/4 of your game away for free? Vanilla GW2 has the most content. It has more content than Heart of Thorns. It will have more content than Heart of Thorns and the next expansion combined, and yet you're giving it away for free. Stop giving it away for free. If you went to culinary school and you paid $250,000 for your tuition and you learned how to make the best steak and the best cheesecake, you're not going to open a restaurant and say, oh my God, we're going to give the cheesesteak and the steak away for free, but we're going to charge for the appetizers. You know what? Keep your damn greasy mozzarella sticks. I don't want them. I'm here for the steak. And maybe that makes me a bad person to walk in and get the free steak and not worry about the mozzarella sticks. But you know what? I'm full and I'm happy. Stop giving your game away for free.
I'll destroy you all.
All right, that's it.
That was actually amazing, dude. I loved it.
It was very therapeutic. All right, go ahead. I'm done. I can't
Gallios,
say
you want to go
no
first?
I'm just glad I wasn't taking a drink of my beer when he started going off, because I started laughing immediately. I would go off, but I can't disagree. I can't disagree with it. I'm on this. I'm kind of on board with the not giving away the first one that the rest of us paid for because somebody bought an expansion. I mean, you need the money. If they want to play the game, they need to buy the first one and add the expansions. I can't honestly disagree with that sentiment. I thought it was going to be something totally different. I knew kind of what the rant was going to be about. Somehow I knew, but the way you put it, so not eloquently, I can't disagree, man. Honestly, I can't disagree. I actually don't have a rebuttal.
Okay.
For that. I kind of agree on that part of it. There's some other things that I know you don't like that they charge for, and those I would disagree with. But on this particular instance, I actually agree with the fact that stop giving away vanilla GW2 for free. Don't give it away if you buy an expansion.
Because
no
I feel
other
like
no
I
other
have
game
to
does
take,
it.
because I have to take the opposition to provide a counterpoint. Just like in school, sometimes the teacher would make you take a counterpoint whether or not you agreed with it. So whether or not I agree with what he is saying is not the point. I am taking the counterpoint as best as I can.
You go, girl.
Here, I'm going to give it a try. So, I think the thinking behind giving Guild Wars Corteria away for free is because the way they have designed the story in Guild Wars 2, because they have designed Guild Wars 2 to not be self-contained expansions like Guild Wars 1 was. Guild Wars 1, you could go in, you could play Prophecies, or you could buy Nightfall, or you could buy Lord help me, I can't think of Canthan's
Factions.
Factions,
Yeah.
thank you. You could buy any of them. You could play them out of order. I did accidentally. You didn't have to have Prophecies to then go to Nightfall or go to, you could play them out of order. And in Guild Wars 2, that's not how they've designed it. If you want to play Heart of Thorns, you want to play Living Story Season 3 or the next expansions that's coming, you have to play Corteria first. You have to then play Heart of Thorns. You then you can play the next expansion, which puts a blocker on to somebody who is brand new. They've never played Guild Wars 2 at all. They want to get started. So you're telling me, as a brand new player, I have to buy this game and play through it. Then I have to buy the next expansion pack and play through it. I think they wanted to make it easier to get those new players. Yeah, you do have to play them in order, but we're doing you a favor and we're going to make the first one free. You just have to buy the expansion pack. And then once you buy the then you can play through Corteria and Heart of Thorns. And you know what? If we can get them that far into the game, they're probably going to want to buy Season 2 Living Story. They're probably going to want to buy Season 3 if they haven't yet. And so that's, I think, the thinking behind that reasoning. That's the point that I'm going to try and argue. And
I accept it. I accept it.
Looked like he was about to have
Good
a
try,
stroke.
though. Good try.
He was
No,
trying to
no.
stroke out.
I'm not debating. I'm not arguing. I've accepted your position. The only thing that I will say is that instead of charging for the living story, because if I were to buy Heart of Thorns now, I do not have Living Story Season 2. I have to pay $20 for that. And I don't have the first 5 episodes of Living Story Season 3, which is a large chunk of probably equivalent story lore. So you have to buy something. It comes across to me as sneaky. Here, take this, it's shiny or whatever. And then we're going to make you pay for the bridge story because you're going to want that. So the thing of it is it would work very well if Vanilla was the same size as Heart of Thorns and Heart of Thorns was the same size as the next expansion. If they were all the same size, it would work. It's not working. That's how I feel, and I can't say anything else. So, anything else from you guys?
No, I'm very proud of you for the restraint.
I'm
proud
of
of Gord.
Thank you. I did not stab him with my nail file. I showed great restraint.
You should have probably.
It's a small nail file, though. You would have been fine.
Yeah, I can take that.
Look at the stuff on the back of his wall. His nail files are a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
those aren't nail files. Those are samurai swords.
There's only 4 there. All right, so that's going to do it for the news. Thank you. Cora goes down in the annals of history as the first to spring the Gord rant. Good job, Cora. I knew it would be you.
Were we really I was about to say, were we really surprised? I am the yin to your yang.
You are.
This is true.
Point.
I'm the little squiggly line in the middle that separates the two.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying whether or not I agreed or disagree, but I do try to present a counterpoint.
Hey, that's good. If we all just, maybe we all feel the same way, but if we all just talked about the same thing, it would be boring. Although I tried to make
I'm
mine,
boring as hell.
I tried to make mine as non-boring as I could.
You are fascinating, my dear.
All right, so with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, so we put it off and put it off and put it off, but we're finally getting to the first scorecard special of 2017. Are you guys ready?
No.
Yeah, sorta.
So,
sorta.
All right, so just to recap, we have broken down into the 8 categories of PvE, living stories separate, PvP, WW, Fractal / raids, which I can actually weigh in on now, skill balance, general, and gem shop. Because you got to throw the gem shop in or else you'd have nothing to grade. Dun-dun-dun.
So salty.
I'm not. It was a joke.
So salty.
You sound like so.
It was a salty joke.
You sound like Dagny. All right, so we're gonna go with PvE first. So, like I said, we don't have to go through every single one of the bullet points. They're just there to kind of remind you. So, Gallios, you're first.
Okay. In an effort to put something in, I did go play a lot of these things, which I don't normally do. But I knew the scorecard was coming up, so I did some PvE. In fact, Winters jumped in and said, "Where's our boss and who are you?" she keeps seeing me in PvE. She's like, "There's no way this is Gallios. Did you steal somebody's account?" But anyway, to weigh in on it, I actually thought that in this particular area, they've stayed on track with it. I thought the PvE was really good. I've enjoyed the stories. I've enjoyed the maps. The polish on it, there are a lot less bugs and a lot less mistakes than they've had in previous releases. Category. So, say again?
That's a different category. Maps fall under Living World.
But, he's just talking about polish.
I see general map polish is your first bullet
That's
point.
down under
Very
general.
first,
Oh, I do.
first
Oh, all
bullet
right.
point. See,
I stand corrected.
Look right there.
I got
See
it.
that? Anyway,
Don't worry, I'll delete that part.
the general map polish in PvE was actually really good. The current events, they got a little bit better at it than the hiding that they were doing before, and you had to kind of stumble upon it. It's a little bit better than it was. Winter's Day, it was fun, but no big whoop. Same kind of thing. I have no idea about the Scallywag armor. Lunar Festival.
That was a joke. I'll get to that.
Yeah, the Lunar Festival's fun. I love the memorial. I just thought that was a nice little touch. We needed to have that. Just something, because it did seem like it just was very abrupt with no fanfare. And I know we wrote it all off to the Sylvari haven't been around for very long and they don't understand death and all of this. So I think it's kind of cool that the Pact actually went together and put up this nice memorial. Super Adventure Festival. I'm going to do the Spock eyebrow again. I tried it. I actually finished the first section, this little bitty section. I finished that. It was fun doing it with my guild mates because I did have a couple of people come in and help me with it. So that was pretty fun. Romo was going to take me through tribulation mode, but I don't think I would have been having very much fun getting carted around. And Basket Brawl, sorry, didn't see it, didn't know. But I will say that I did, for the most part, enjoy PvE more than I usually do. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was with guildies doing a lot of it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to actually give PvE an A this time, which is a pretty high score for me on PvE. But I did get into some PvE this time. So that'll be my score for the night.
Good. All right. Cora.
General map polish. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Gallios that it's been pretty good. There's not bugs like we were seeing, like Living Story Season 1, even some of Living Story Season 2. Generally, when things released, it was in a pretty good state, which was nice. I don't know if this is in the right category, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. One of my issues, though, and I was realizing it just this past week, is with the new masteries that drop in with every single new Living Story map, is here's a new mastery that you have to master, and it's just a map travel, and they're all the exact same type of map travel, basically. This one is travel on through lava tubes. This one is travel through icy tubes. This one is travel by way of routes. And it just takes you from this location to that location quicker. And to me, I haven't done any of them, and I've gotten through all the maps fine. I've gotten through all of the Living Story fine. So that mastery doesn't really add anything. And it's not one mastery. I don't understand. It's not like the masteries from Heart of Thorns was like, here's leyline gliding. And each tier of the leyline gliding built upon the last. So the first tier is gliding, unlock gliding. And then the next one was glide faster, or hit the back button and you brake when you glide, and you kind of just glide down in place. And then the next one was, tilting to make quicker turns. And then the next one was not losing your energy, or ley line gliding. So they built on each other. And then these new masteries aren't masteries in the way that Heart of Thorns masteries were. They don't build on each other. They're not actually connected to each other. They're all the exact same skill. They just have a different name, and you just have to go to the next map and level up again to get the exact same skill you got on the last map, which just rings as them trying to put, not false content, but time-gated content, essentially.
Artificial difficulty.
Yeah. And so that I didn't like. I didn't like that every map has its new currency. It's Winterberry here, and it's over here, it's the primordial orchids. And
that is the next. That's Living Story.
Okay.
So that's fine. We got that, but
yeah. But going
anything
back,
else stick out for you,
um,
PvE?
current event releases I thought were fun. Winter's Day Festival, I got my winter's presents at last, so I was happy with that. There wasn't anything new, but there wasn't anything bad. I would love if for the next Winter's Day they put a new item in that I can work towards. Because now that I've got the winter's presents, what is the thing that's going to make me want to play next year that I have to work towards? I mean, it took me a couple years to get winter's presents, but that's fine. I didn't mind that. You know, the Halloween when they dropped the bat thing, the bat piece was cool. So I would love them to drop a new item at least, but that didn't happen this year, so maybe next year.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvari Scallywag armor clipping fix. I didn't even know that was an issue. So
that's my joke line.
Oh yeah,
it was
so
in
I'm
the patch notes, but I'll address that.
Okay. Lunar New Year Festival. I didn't really play it. I've never been a big. Again, it's not something that's really drawn me in, so I don't really care. Like I think it's cool that they do it, but it's just there wasn't anything there that was like, oh my god, I gotta play to get the rooster glider. I was like, I'm not flying through Tyria with celestial roosters. I'm not. I have a image to maintain. The Traherne Memorial I thought was great. I still have to work on that. So all these achievements and story. I have to go work on that. Super Adventure Box is always fun. I didn't play it as much as I was hoping to this year. Life gets in the way, but I had fun going in there. I got a couple more bubbly bubble things. So maybe next year I'll actually get enough to then buy a Super Adventure Box weapon like I have dreamed of. Basket Brawl, didn't even know that was a thing, so I didn't partake in it.
A lot of people didn't, so.
Yeah, so
final grade.
Overall PvP, I'm going to give it an A. I was overall very happy with things.
Okay.
Gord, give us your thoughts.
To me, it's a mixed bag. The general map polish, I feel like they've been doing a lot of map polish and cleaning up a lot of the maps. The current event releases were pretty fun, albeit some of them were hidden. Winter's Day is one of my faves, as well as Super Adventure Festival. I played the snot out of both of them and got my Chivos for that. Yeah, there was nothing new, but I really am still optimistic that was because of the change in direction of delivering expansions at what appears to be the pace that they want to release them at. So that was that. Live beta basket brawl was awesome because I got a crap ton of achievement points for very little work because nobody went in there. So the few people that were in there were just trading victories, which was pretty awesome. So that was a lot of fun. And the Sylvari Scallywag armor clipping fix, it only took him 4 years to do it. But that's the only reason why that was in there. It was in the patch notes, but it did take him 4 years to fix it. So, yeah, I guess I would have to say for PvE content, I am also going to give an A. Because I think they did a pretty good job with it. All right, Miss Cora, since you gave half of your dissertation on the living story, why don't you tell us about the rest of it?
Okay, so trying to even remember. Crack in the Ice was Bram being very upset and angry at the world, which I wasn't a fan of, and most people weren't. It was a little overpowering. The voice actor did a great job, though, conveying, Bram, and so I think that was great. For me, it's one of those things of I am interested to see where they're going with his story. Is he corrupted, like Gord says? Is he just angry? Is he dealing with stuff? What's going to happen? Where are they going with that? So I'm torn. Overall, though, I still enjoyed playing it. I still enjoyed seeing the potential there, even if it was a harder episode, because I didn't like Bram in it. And you know what? And I think that's okay. I don't think you always have to like the character for them to be written well. I remember taking a creative writing class in junior college, and it wasn't a really good writing class. The teacher was not a very good teacher. But the one thing that has stuck with me from that class is one night she made us watch Hustle and Flow. And this is crazy that I'm bringing this up. It is the story of he's a pimp. He's a pimp. He has women and he forces to prostitute themselves. He wants to be a rapper. He wants to make it big. He's doing a lot of things that are not nice things. He's not a nice person. He's not a good person at all. And I found myself rooting for him, and it was the strangest feeling. And we talked about it in class of realizing, like, you can have very well written characters that you don't like, but that doesn't mean that they're not written well. And you can have story that you don't like that strikes you on some sort of a more emotional chord of, I don't like this, but dang, they did a good job writing it. And it makes you want to see where it's going. It makes you, want them to succeed. And I think that's how I feel about Crack in the Ice. Was I didn't like Bram as a character, but I want him to succeed at defeating Jormag. It was an emotionally hard story for me to play through because I didn't like it. It wasn't happy, fluffy. It was hard to see him filled with rage, but just because it struck that chord with me doesn't mean it wasn't written well, and it doesn't mean that's not what they wanted. Like, I feel like that's exactly what the writers wanted. They wanted to strike that chord of, we're going to make you uncomfortable. This isn't a fluffy chapter. This one's going to be hard, and that's the intent. So I think they did a good job with that. Head of the Snake. It was nice to finally see Codicus out there for who he was and to see him taken down. It was really cool to see that room that I had seen back when Guild Wars 2 first launched, where, friends took me and they were like, hey, we're going to break out the map and show you this cool thing. And just assume, like, all these years that's been lost. And for them to go, oh, hey, wait a second, we need to do this boss battle. I think we got an asset that we never used that was going to be in the dungeons, and we just never used it. And we didn't delete it because you never delete anything. So let's do something with it. And they did something really cool with it. In some ways, I like that the story was tied up, that Codicus is no longer an issue. They did tie it up, so it's never going to be is this going to be a storyline that gets dropped? No, they tied that end. I was sad that Demi got killed off. I always enjoyed her character. She fought back against her abusive father, and for her to lose her life in the end, that was, again, hard. I think the voice actress for her friend, who I can never remember the name, we're just going to call her Velvet. Was it Velvet? Velveteen? Velour? I don't know.
I forgot her name as well. It did start with a V.
I think they dropped the ball with the voice actress. The fact that it's the same voice actress as Timey it's not a problem that it's the same voice actress. It is a problem that they didn't call the voice actress on the fact that, hey, yeah, that's the same voice that you use for Timey. Can you make it different? Because as a voice actress, that is what you're supposed to do. Like, you're getting paid to do two different characters. You need to be able to do two different characters. And so, one, it was on the voice actress herself dropping the ball and not making a new distinct character. And on two, it was on whoever was in that booth going, that sounds too much like Timey. Can you make it different? Can you make it sound deeper, or can you change up the pacing of how you're conveying the lines? You just need to do something so it doesn't sound like Timey. They didn't give her that feedback. So there was a ball dropped there, which was a disappointment for me. And maybe because I'm studying voiceover and doing a lot of private sessions, that's why I noticed it, and maybe the vast majority of people wouldn't. But because this is something that I am now studying and learning and training my ears for, that instantly I was like, that's the same voice. That is the same character. And it caused a break for me, pulled me out of the game. Bug fixes in the 12-13 notes, I Don't pay attention to the bug fixes. So bugs got fixed. Cool. I like when bugs get squished because I don't like bugs.
All right. So final grade.
Final grade, B+. I think the reason why I have to lower it is because, like what I was talking about, the first half of my dissertation in PvE, I was disappointed that the way they chose to do the mastery system was we're just going to put the exact same mechanic into each map, but you're going to have to relearn the skill. We're just going to call it something different. I think that they could have put in an actual new mastery line. Like, hey, we're going to create a new way of map travel. And with each living story drop, with each map, is the next tier of what it is. Maybe that would have been more work to figure out, well, how do you go from, quickly traveling this way, like with gliding? How do you go from unlock gliding to glide faster to sharp turns? But some of that is a challenge to, you have to think about, well, what's that next tier going to be?
Yeah.
But it was kind of boring to just every new map know, okay, it's the exact same mechanic. I just have to unlock it, but I'm perfectly capable of getting through the story and around the map without it. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then the currency issue. I mean, I'd rather have had it be, you can go collect the winter berries, but the currency is the unbound magic that you need to then go buy the mini quaggin or the mini whatever. Instead, it's, okay, no, I had to go back into Bitterfrost Front this past week after I said I would never go back in there because I discovered there was a mini owl griffin sold by one of the heart vendors, and I wanted it because I love griffins. So I had to go back in the map and collect the 50 winter berries, which is not hard. But I didn't want to go back into that map. And if it was Unbound Magic was the currency, well, I've got Unbound Magic from other maps. But it's their way of forcing players to play that map, to run around and collect the things. And
those maps, well, I'll go into mine on the living story.
So for me, the reason why it was a B+ and not an A+ is because of those two issues of the mastery point and the currency system, which I'm not a fan of, but maybe other people are. So, But for me, that's what lowered it. But I mean, story-wise, even when it was hard to play through, it was good writing.
Yeah.
So, so A+ on the story, but slightly lower because of some game mechanics.
For me, I'm kind of in the same boat. If you look at just the story, it's an A+. If you look at some of the other nagging features, it's not. But they did fix the map currency now. It's not that horrible, but those maps are what I refer to as disposable maps, because in a year, nobody's going to go there unless they make an event to make people go back there. So when you're looking at it like that, you do have to kind of take that into account. The story is outstanding. Through episode 4, the story is outstanding. So we'll get to episode 5 next week. But, I mean, cracking the ice, I felt the same way. I didn't connect with that map. I didn't connect with that story. It was unexpected how it went down, and I didn't like it as much as the rest, where Head of the Snake was a complete 180. It was a totally different thing. Different map, much better meta event, much better mechanic. Things were handled differently, and it did. I mean, for me, I don't know. There's not much more that I can add to what you already said, except the masteries. It was the only way they could do the masteries because they needed that mechanic for each map, and that fragmentation of the maps translated over to the fragmentation in the ancient magics, which was really the same map type movement, even going into the newer map. So for me, Living Story for the past quarter, I have to give I have to agree. I'm going to give it a B+. I think the first 2 maps got away with it in our November scorecard because we weren't at the point where it was like, really another set of dailies, really another set of currency, and blah, blah, blah. Now, they did fix the currency, so the currencies aren't really a problem to me anymore because you can store them now, but that's where I'm at, B+.
Had you mentioned before that they had different teams working on each?
3 different teams.
And Yeah, and I think that's where you get that fragmentation of you have one team working on this story, this map, and then you go to the next one and you have this story and this map but a different team. And I think the way they were trying to bridge that was, okay, it's just going to be the same essential game mechanics, but instead of bridging the gap, it just highlighted the fact that there was fragmentation. Whereas if it was
Yep.
an evolving mastery system, then that would have bridged the gap of here is how the content flows and grows and builds on itself versus here's the content and now here's the new map and new story and the exact same content that you just had to unlock, but now
Well,
we've got a different name.
brace yourself, because that's what the mastery system is going to be. So, at least to me. So, Gallios, weigh in, buddy.
I
Living
don't want to
story.
sound like a broken record, but the exact same things you guys were a little bit mystified with are the same things I was mystified with. I also want to add another wrinkle, making the potion for Bitter Frost
Mhm.
to not insta-die. I didn't like that. And yes, you're on the right track, Gord, because that's where I'm going. The biggest reason I wasn't just completely bowled over, like you guys loved the story. Even, and like what you were saying earlier about Bram, a writer's supposed to bring out emotion regardless if it's good, angry, sad, bad, whatever. They need to bring out an emotion, and I think it brought out an emotion in a lot of people. Some people were like, yeah, what a whiny baby. Some people were like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to him, and so on. And they did a good job bringing out that emotion. That's what needed to happen. And if every living story brings out emotion in the players, then they've done it right. Good or bad for the character, they've done it right because they've made you feel something. It's just like reading a good novel. You know, if something doesn't hurt you, or if something doesn't make you smile, or something doesn't make you laugh, it's a boring read. I mean, and you're not going to read it. You may be disappointed. Game of Thrones is a good example. You get attached to a certain character, and all of a sudden they're dead. You know, I read the books, and let me tell you, that was devastating on a lot of fronts. But I didn't get mad at the books. It just made me want to read the next ones because it did bring out that emotion in me, and that's what it's supposed to do. So as far as the story part of the living story goes, that was really well done. And I'm also on board with the Caudicus, head of the snake. That just blew me away. It was really fantastic closure that we needed to have on that character. Again, another thing that brought out emotion. So the bug fixes, I'm like Cora. I don't play enough to notice them. I mean, some people notice that kind of thing. I just kind of look over it. I'm more into the gameplay and into what the conversation is about. So I didn't really notice too much about that because of the potions that you have to craft, which I already don't really like doing any of the too much extracurricular. I want to get in the game and I want to play it, because one of the things that attracted me to Guild Wars 1 was the fact that I did not have to build a character from the ground up and grind the game to get to a certain point to get 50 freaking skill sets. I could go in and I could put, you know, my 6 skills on the bar, and I could immediately be competitive. The little extra things that you have to do like that really don't make it fun for me at all, and that's why I'm going to also give it a B+. I just can't give it a better score than I'd like to, because I didn't hate the living story. I didn't hate any of the chapters. They were really well written, but it's just some of the little extra things that I just didn't like. I didn't want to have winter berries be relevant in this map and not be relevant in another map. I mean, that part's kind of silly. So because of that, I have to go with the same thing you guys did. I don't want to give it a worse score than that, because it really does deserve a horrible score. So B+ for me.
All right. So PvP.
I do not do the thing. So
you're an NA.
I'm NA. I do
Okay.
not do the thing. Sorry.
So Gallios, you want to weigh in?
I don't know if I'll be fair weighing in. I didn't play it enough. I did jump in simply because you did it, and I wanted to see what it looked like. So I went in and jumped in, and I mean, I didn't find that much of a difference. Honestly, I didn't play enough. I don't think I played enough games to notice some of the things that people were complaining about. I do know there were a lot of complaints about it. The matchmaking was a little bit more balanced, I thought, because I'm a lower level PvP. I guess when I went in, I didn't notice a big discrepancy in who I was playing with. Now, there were times when I got a little aggravated because I was put with people who looked like they'd never played it before, and I'm just a player who's played it before, halfway decent at it, that just doesn't play enough to move up levels. So I'm going to go with just a B. I enjoyed it. I found that the matchmaking was bad. The only thing I would have liked, I want to add one caveat. I did play with a couple of other friends, and the fact that I couldn't go in with more than one friend, that was kind of difficult. I can understand the reasoning behind it, so I get it. But it would have been a lot more enjoyable, I think, if me and a couple of my other friends who were on the same level as me would have been able to get in, because we really don't get an advantage other than the fact that we do have the option of talking to each other, which makes it a little bit easier to do PvP. But at that point, you should be full competitive. You should be in team PvP. So, I get it. I don't want to give it too bad of a score because I actually had fun for the limited amount of time that I played. So, B.
All right. So I think season 5 and season 6 were in this grouping. I didn't play season 5. I didn't get to it. By the time I got to it, it was impossible for me to do my qualifying matches, and I just gave up. So season 6, I jumped in right away and did my qualifying matches, and I got in, and it was just same old stuff. Looking at what was done, I have to give credit to what they did. They added some nice bug fixes. The achievement points that they added to each of the maps was good, but the map updates, I didn't see any point in bringing Skyhammer back. Skyhammer is completely shelled. It's not the map that it was. Yet they brought it back and put it into rotation. They changed a bunch of stuff, which just wasn't really that fun. But so, mixed bag for me. I'm giving it a C. I think the changes they made from season 5 to season 6 was not good for the game, and I don't have fun in PvP. It's average to me, so it gets an average grade.
Fair enough.
All right, Cora, NA for WW.
I do not do the thing.
Okay, so NA for Cora on WW. I'm gonna start this. Abbreviated. I'm gonna read through the list of. I made a bulleted list of everything that came into WW with all the patches. So we have abbreviated nameplates, upgraded objectives were worth more war score when flipped. The PPT value rework, skirmish point rework from 12.13. War score floaters were added. Skirmish points change implemented on 2.8. So that was 12.13, and then again on 2.8. WW portals require interact press to avoid random map changes when waypointing. Tonics re-enabled the WW, but were re-enabled in WW, but skills were removed. Noblesse Oblige Mastery disabled during competitive play. I don't even know what that was. The DBL changes in 2.8. Being killed while outnumbered no longer gives war score to the opposing team. That was actually a good one. Siege converted to gizmos that are consumed. That was a good update. Siege bundles stay in hand until drop, cancel, or run out. Another good one. The Ascalon Mage potion reverted to a combat potion. That was because a lot of people used that potion and were able to still fight. When they removed the skills, they couldn't do that, so they put it back in. Garrison Backgate received an upgrade buff. They removed the floating gargoyle at the Fire Shrine. DBL jump pads were added to the DBL. And players that didn't own Heart of Thorns could buy notarized scrolls of heroics for just Quarteria. So that's the list of everything that came since November of 2016. And you know what? Out of that whole list, there was only two two updates that I felt, well, three updates that I felt were actually worth the time. I think everything else was just fluff, rework, constant rework in the Desert Borderland just to make it work. They've stripped it down to probably half of what it was just to make it work, and it's still there, and WW is not changing enough for me, and I think that just didn't do anything for it. I really don't. I'm not happy about the announcement in the AMA that we'll have something within a year. Colin left a year and a month ago, and they were working on the WW update at that point for over a year, according to Colin. So now we're looking at over 2 years of working on updates, and this is everything that we've seen. Votes have stopped. Everything else, WW's getting a D for me. It's their worst subject. That's all I got.
Yeah, and it's a little bit worse than I'm giving it, but it's not much worse. There are some things that I do like, and it's hard for me because I do love the game mode so much. I really, really enjoy playing World v. World. So I'm glad they have it. So that gets a bonus for me right there. I guess that's where my bonus points are going to come from. But there's only a couple of things I really like that they've changed. And I say really like, that's pretty strong verbiage, actually. The things that I'm okay with and that I think did help a little bit, the PPT value rework and the skirmishes together. I like those better. Some of the other stuff like abbreviated nameplates, who gives a crap? I don't care about that. Never noticed it anyway. I'm a tab target guy kind of anyway. I like the skirmishes. Could really care less about any of the tonics. Never use them. Don't need them. And honestly didn't notice the Garrison back gate buff. I mean, apparently I am oblivious to that part of it. So I didn't even notice that kind of thing. Didn't notice the floating gargoyle because just like Gord, I'm really not a big fan of DBL. I can do it and I have done it because, sometimes that's where they need you. But if I have my choice, I'm on an Alpine borderland map. I don't really get into desert except to do my job as a Havoc commander. The DBL jump pads, it's cute, but that's about all you can say about it. It's fun just to jump on one and see yourself fly clean across the borderland. But other than that, no big whoop. I'm a little disappointed. I'm hoping that they'll spend some time on it. And unlike Gord, I'm kind of okay with it being a year, but I want to see something. I want to see. Well, I see your three fingers going up, Gord, and you're right. It's been a good 3 years before they've really done anything that has just made it spectacular to be in World v. World, to draw in players that aren't playing, because that's really what World v. World needs right now. Is the players that aren't playing need to come in, and unless you have something that just grabs people's attention, that's not going to happen. And they tried with the seasons, which I didn't hate the seasons. It drew in the wrong people is the problem. So it never worked out. Other than that, there's really not much that they changed that made me excited. My general love for the game mode is what brings me into it, and that shouldn't be the case. There should be more for us to enjoy. So thank you, Gord. You got it right. I'm giving it a C. It's average right now. It could be a lot better, and they need to spend some time on it. Gallios out.
Cora, Fractals.
Yes. I did not do the thing.
Okay, NA from Cora. So
I would. Okay, I've done Fractals a few times. I don't do them religiously like some people do, primarily because I can't solo them.
Yeah.
I have to find a group, and I do know some people that do it often, and I'm sure if I ask them, they'd be like, "Yeah, come on, we'll do it together." And some of this is on me. I always feel bad because they're so. What is it? The agony resistance is so much higher than mine that they should be doing much higher levels than the lowest tiers, which I require because I don't have massive agony resistance. I haven't run these fractals 1,000 times so that I just know instantly like what I'm supposed to do. Like, no, I would, if I was running it, if I was leading it, I would still need to have a guide up. Like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So to find a group when I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm very low level makes me not want to play them, because one, I don't want to be a burden on my friends, and I don't want to be a burden on some rando strangers who are trying to do a good job. I also, if I'm going in and going like, well, I just want to do this one fractal because I just want to get the achievement for it, or oh, I need it for this the legendary thing, but I only want to do this one. I just want to do one, and I join a group, and then suddenly I'm supposed to do like 3 or 5 or something. And if I don't want to do them, then they're like, I feel bad because now they're going to have to find another person to run with. So I feel like such a burden, and that just makes me not want to play Fractals.
You should fractal with the guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to go
movies.
with the guys. If you've got the time, go with them, because they make it
We don't mind.
fun,
Yeah.
and they're very patient. I know I've been in. Gord, you're close to level 100 or higher.
Yeah, my personal level is 90, I think, right now.
Yeah, so, and Cora, they've invited me in, and I'm like level 19.
Yeah.
So they
Popcorn's
make it
good,
fun,
too.
and so you've really got to find your people, and we are your people. So you should watch when they're going to be doing these kinds of things. Now, getting into the raids a little bit more difficult. It's a lot more challenging than the fractals are. Fractals really aren't that challenging once you start doing them. But I will tell you, you'll enjoy it. Enjoy doing it with Gord and Pockland and BB and these guys. They have a great time, and they're real good at teaching you what you got to do next, especially like Gord and Pockland. I know when I ran with those guys, and they invited me in one night, and I was like you. I don't want to be a burden. I have no clue what I'm doing, yada, yada, yada. And then they talked about how difficult my trend was, and I didn't go down once, which was pretty awesome. But, it's real fun. You got to do it with community, and that makes the difference. And it's really the only part of the grade I'll have is that it's fun to do with your friends, because it really is. It's very dynamic. There's so many different things to do. They did a good job with Fractals. So should I just continue on my scorecard?
No. That's great.
No, I mean, should I continue my score?
Well, I was going to say for raids, I did try to join a raiding group, learning to train. And I think I did it twice. But we tried a couple more times.
That's 2 more times than me.
Saturday, noon my time. I have to be on from noon to 2 p.m. We're going to try this thing. Okay, I logged on at noon. Okay, we're not doing it after all, and I've been waiting 20 minutes. And then a few times to go in, and then realizing, having them tell me why is the anomaly targeting you, or the scary, angry light dude targeting
Super
you,
toughness.
and then finding out, oh, well, my toughness is way too high, so I have to strip off armor and trinkets just to get below that threshold, so he targets the player he's supposed to and not me, but then I'm not running with all of my gear, and the few times I played, we never got past it. So there is a very big barrier there, one in skill, which is fine. You have to get better at playing it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it wasn't good time for me. Saturdays at noon is I would like to go do errands or grocery shop or go to the movies, and this is not a convenient time for me when I'm at home in the evenings. That's a convenient time for me, but midday on one of my only 2 days off of the week when I need to be adulting is not a good time for me to have to every week be on game. And then that challenge of it has to be 10 people, and it has to be the regular 10 people that we always go in with. So there's just too much of a barrier for me. For me, raids just aren't worth it. And I don't really care about the legendary armor. So there's not that desire of oh man, I gotta have that armor set, so I have to go play raids and I have to make the time. No, I can just go replay story. Or I can go run around and, work on achievements that I haven't done. There's plenty of other content that's out there that I can solo. I don't need to have this particular content that's got a lot of barriers for me. That's not saying that those are barriers for everybody, because clearly they're not. But for me personally, the way I play the game, it's got enough barriers that I'm just like, it's not for me. So, but I can't grade either fractals or raids because I don't do them, but that's where I'm coming from on them. So go ahead, you guys.
All right,
Gord, I'll go ahead and do mine because it'll be quick. I actually enjoy fractals very much. I don't know how the new fractal reworks have gone. The only thing that I know on that part of it is some of the frustration from the folks who said that the rewards aren't matching what the levels
anymore.
are. So
yeah, not anymore.
I can't say because I'm on a lower level and the drops that I got were just fine, but it's what I would expect at my level. Whereas, guys like you and Pockland and Bronco and Xandros and all the rest of those guys, you're expecting I'm doing much harder content. I should be able to get better rewards or better drops. Not necessarily have to be the greatest rewards, but some of the better drops, So as far as playing much on the newest updates, I haven't played much. I think I played twice. And I did get invited to one raid because they needed a person, and I happened to be home on a Saturday, and I got into the lobby. Woohoo! And then somebody showed up who knew what they were doing, and so I dropped so that they could get in. But on the limited bit of it, I guess I'm going to give it a C because I'm middle ground. I have played a little, not enough to really give it a fantastic grade, so I'm going to say I'm average on that one. We'll go with C.
Okay. Fractals, every single change that has been implemented for Fractals has made it that much better. The rewards are rewarding again. The changes to the fractal maps have been pretty good. Even Thaumanova, to me, is really not that bad. They made some really good changes. They just force you to go through the whole thing now, which isn't really that bad. Mislock instability reworks. If they would get rid of social awkwardness, I'd be happy, but they're probably not going to. The changes they made to it is a lot better, but I hate that instability. It's so bad. As far as raids go, our raid group consistently clears the S score for Stronghold of the Faithful. We've gotten pretty close with Karen, and a lot of that we agreed was because we were not tight with our builds, and now we are pretty tight with our builds, and we're pretty tight with our build comp and our tactics. And I think we're trying Veil Guardian this week, and I think we're going to down Veil Guardian. I redid my Warrior's armor. I'm running PS Condi Warrior now. At first, pretty much against my will, but I started playing with it and saw the DPS that I do, and was like, okay, there's something to it. But the only bearing that raids are going to have on my score, though, really is with Saul D'Alessio's story being put in Bastion of the Penitent. I'm warming up to the idea of it only because I know eventually with our raid group we are going to do a full clear of that raid. We're getting pretty good as a group, and that's really what it takes, and learning the mechanics, and we'll get through it. But hiding that big of a story behind the raids is kind of disappointing. So I am giving Fractals / raids an A, because Fractals is the healthiest game mode right now, in my opinion, in Guild Wars 2. So Fractals gets an A+, and just Saul being locked behind the raid the way they did it is the only negative I have. So easy peasy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
All right, skill balance. I know Cora wants to go first on this.
I do not pay attention to the thing.
An A from Cora. I'm gonna weigh in and just say that there was really 3 skill balances over the last quarter. there was a small balance on 1213. There was a large skill balance, the large skill balance on 222, and a small balance on 328. And I think that the large skill balance did not get as much credit as it deserved. A lot of people say that ArenaNet doesn't know how to balance, and they'll knock them for that. I really think that the February 22nd skill balance opened up a meta or near meta position for just about every class. I still don't like the fact that you have to play Piano NG to be viable in a raid, but I have a feeling that's going to change. So
Hey, don't knock it. I mean, it's the only time with my tiny little hands that I've ever been able to play a piano successfully.
yeah, no,
I mean, I don't play it in raid, but like I can.
I'm not
I can
knocking
piano
it.
engineer a little bit.
I'm just saying for people that main an engineer, it's unfortunate that that's how they have to play. When really, for me, my rotation on Condi PS Warrior is really not that bad. For an engineer, it's insane. It really is insane. So that's really it. So for me, I'm gonna give the skill balance a B+. Because again, I didn't have to buy any new gear. Well, I did, but that was for raids.
I actually liked it. I'm giving it an A. I actually like the skill balance. I've never been a meta player, and the fact that I could build up a tune based on just the things that are in the skill tree, like they're supposed to be built. And I noticed that when I make that change, it does make a difference. To me, that's a successful skill balance. I don't know how you can make it much better, honestly, because every player is going to find an exploit, and I use that term a little bit loosely, but I think I see Gord, you're shaking your head up and down, so you kind of agree with me on that. Players mess up a skill balance because they always find a little thing here or there. And I guess that's the point. I mean, it is a game. You're supposed to figure out how to play it the best you can. And if you're going to take advantage of the skill sets that are there, that's just how it is. But I do find that what they did, like for the longest time, I mean, Condi's still a thing. But man, there was a point at one time where Condis and lockdowns made it impossible to enjoy any game mode that, especially the competitive ones, to be enjoyable. And they fixed a lot of that. You know, they have taken some of that overpowering stuff away. So kudos to them on that. So I'm going to stick with my A. I'm going to give them an A on that.
All right. Good deal. All right. So general and quality of life updates. Cora, do you want to go first?
Flameseeker Prophecy updated effects. I didn't really pay much attention to.
How about just talk about what you did pay attention to?
Okay. Well, I was going to say I didn't pay attention to it, but I love that legendary. So if they updated and made the effects cooler, I'm all in favor of that. I love Sushidoo. I want a baby Quaggan on my back in a fish tank. So maybe someday I'll work on that legendary. I'll unlock the first tier and that's it. Guild commendation, I don't pay attention to guild fall. Bloodstone Fen nerfing, don't pay attention to. Petrified Wood node. It's cool to add more nodes to the home instance, but like, ooh, there's lots of nodes for the home instance. My god, so many nodes. I don't pay attention to world polish notes. Legendary rifle, again, anytime they add a legendary, I'm like, yeah, woo, legendaries. And I would be more excited about that if I ever played rifle. I do not ever play rifle. So while I think it's a really cool look and I'm all for it for people who do play rifle, that's one for sure I'm like never gonna use. Even though it's cool. I can't see working on the rifle when I have never played rifle. Never. Bloodstone Fen updates. I didn't even know they updated it. What did they update?
They changed a few of the mechanics with the AI. They changed the range at which they could throw things at you and stuff like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was there.
Okay. Well, I mean, if they made the map a little bit easier, I'm all for that, because sometimes that got a little ridiculous running around there. Mm-hmm. Antitoxin injector skins and added to the Laurel vendor. I'm all for that. I got it when it was in Living Story, so that's not a problem for me, but Living Story 1 doesn't exist as replayable content, so yeah, that stuff should be able somehow for players to get. Just like the Dragon Bash skins that were available. Part of me is like, it's really cool that I have both of the Dragon Wings that were available that you had to play to get and that other people cannot get unless that, but part of it is like, well, that's unfair because those are really cool skins and there should be a way to be able to get them. So adding that content in, I think overall is a good decision. Various portable merchants can be used while moving. Don't care. Tonics can't be consumed while in combat. Don't care. I mean, that makes sense. Like, you don't want to turn into something that is, the fighting skills are part of the costume bash mechanics or non-fighting mechanics when you're in combat. That makes sense. So that's a good change. Scribe. I don't scribe. Don't care. Heart and Mind rework. What's this? You tell me.
They basically made it impossible to bug error for the migraine achievement, but they reworked some of the fight mechanics too.
Unless
you
they
still get thrown into the bird's nest if you die.
You knew what I was going to say. I was going to say, unless they have reworked the bird's nest so that when I die, there's a way for me to get back into battle, I don't care, because that is just ridiculous. I will never forget the first time going through that with some guildies and getting insta-killed because I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know. I didn't see the airstream to jump into. I didn't know that it would insta-kill me, and then I'm insta-dead, and I'm up in the bird's nest, and my commander is still yelling, "Come on, guys, we can do this. We're a little harder." And I'm just standing around, not doing anything. And all of my guildmates are fighting the thing. It was like 20 minutes of me being like the most emo, disappointed cheerleader ever. So I feel like that was a mechanic-wise, gameplay-wise, that was a big misstep. And the fact that they haven't gone in and fixed it, I can't understand. I can't understand why they've left it like that. As a player, and as somebody who works in the industry, I don't understand the logic, the reasoning behind that. I would love to sit down with whoever made that and be like, this is why we decided to stick you in a bird's nest. Anyways, moving on. Crafting stuff, I don't craft enough to, additional Ecto Gambler NPC added to LA. We talked about before how some company is getting sued because of the gambling mechanic in their game. So that they're adding an additional gambling NPC. When you go, oh, well, but it's only in play, it's only in-game stuff, like Ectos. You know there's somebody out there who's buying gems and then using the gems, converting them to gold, and buying Ectos to go to the gambler and gamble the Ectos. And if it's just a few here and there, yeah, it's not a problem. But what if it's the kid who went and grabbed the mom's wallet, or the mom has synced up to the PayPal? So yeah, oh yeah, you can go buy, $10 a month, and then the kid decides, oh, I really want $50 a week or something. Like, somebody's going to screw that up. So I don't understand. I hope it goes well, but like I am nervous because this is where the industry is still young, and you're putting these gambling mechanics into games where teenagers play, where people with that can get addicted to gambling play, and you don't have the regulations around it. That makes me nervous. Part of me is like, well, even if it just had like a daily limit, like you can gamble 3 times a day and then you're done. I don't know I don't know what I feel about that. General, I'm gonna say A, because I feel like overall they put a lot of really good things in. So yeah, I feel like overall A, because they've been working on polishing. I mean, all these things are polishing and fixing things and adding things. Even if it's not fixing the bird's nest, I'm gonna say A. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now.
All right, Gallios, what do you got?
I'll give you my score right away. I'm going to give you my score right away. It's going to be a B+. And honestly, it would probably be higher if they'd have done some of the changes they did in this last patch sooner. Mm. But, we're going on what the last quarter was, not the new quarter. So I'm basing my score on this. Some of the stuff that I was disappointed with and some of the stuff I'd like to see happen, they partially got there this time. So maybe next scorecard I can give it a higher score. But I'm going to, I hope I'm not going to steal your thunder, Gord. They still haven't given us a keychain. I think that is a huge quality of life improvement they could make. Gord has been preaching it forever. It should be a very easy thing to do, but they refuse to do it, and we know why. I did like a lot of the things that they did with effects, some of the polishing. Those were things that we asked for. Golly, how long ago, Gord? Like when we were doing episode 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
You know, these are things, some of the things that we asked for back then, they're actually doing now. So I was pleased with that, which is a good thing. I just wasn't super impressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want it to, I don't want to sound super disappointed, but I wasn't super impressed with some of the things that should be exciting, like the new legendary rifle. Meh. I'm sorry. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool enough.
Yeah.
Nodes, for instances, I guess some people love that, but personally, if we're going on my score, I could care. I can't tell you the last time I went and harvested a node in my own freaking home instance. I can't tell you. Now, I've gone into other people's nodes, like Pocklin's home instance, and from what I hear, Romo's home instance is pretty amazing. But you know, I just don't, those kinds of things I don't notice, so I can't give it a better score because I never really utilize that. It doesn't do anything for me. I do like that they added the guild commendation vendor to the guild hall. That's a good shortcut that I think that the game needed.
Yep. Other
than that, I'd never noticed the Bloodstone updates. Again, like Gord said, you're going to play the map and you kind of leave it and you don't go back to it unless there's an instance or an achievement you need to go get.
Yep.
So I didn't notice any of that. I mean, I'm sure all of that's well and good, but because I didn't notice it, I can't score on it. So
okay,
there you go.
I think that's a fair score.
Yeah, Paul Harvey.
I mean, really, the only things that I want to add is that Shushadu and HMS Divinity are not really my taste, but they are well done. They are very well done. They look good. A lot of people get down on the net that, they're making all these joke legendaries or whatever, and I don't think they intend them all to be joke legendaries or jokes at all. And they put a lot of detail and quality into those legendary weapons. So even though I hate Poopadoo, I have to give it
Shushadu.
Poopadoo.
Me.
Poopadoo.
Shushadu.
Poopadoo.
It's a little baby quagga in a
it's
fish tank.
Poopadoo. Anyway, even though I don't like it, HMS Divinity is pretty cool, but I prefer my Predator over that. You know,
Predator is awesome.
It is, but again, it's a rifle. You know, everything that I look at, you know, I was quite surprised because when I put the notes together, I go through all the patch notes from our last show to the end of the quarter, and I was actually quite surprised to see how many general and quality of life updates went in, and they were all pretty good. So I am giving it an A as well. All right, and to finish it up is a gem shop. I'm going first. My gut would tell me to give the gem shop a C just because of my own assault or whatever, but I do have to say that as lame as the gem shop, some of the stuff in the gem shop can be, I have to applaud ArenaNet on the gem shop because it's very apparent. Well, not apparent to me. All the pressure of their revenue is on the gem shop. They need to make their money from the gem shop, and it would be very easy for them to go pay to win, and they haven't. They have not, and there are MMOs that are pay to win. So I want to applaud them for that. So my gut would say C. In reality, I think a B is more fair, and that's all I got for the gem shop.
I'll go next. I love the gem shop. I actually enjoy going to check and see what they have, and I am very, 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 very proud of you, Paul B. Gord, for one of the things that I am very, very pleased with the gym shop about, and that's that they haven't made it a pay to win type of gym shop. It's all cosmetic. It's all optional. You don't have to get anything out of here or spend any money if you don't want to. I personally like, and Gord's mentioned this many, many, many times in other shows. Every other game you pay a subscription to, go find something in the gym shop once a month, spend $10, help support your game, and find something that's fun. And that's what I do. I usually go at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. I'll spend $10, $15, $20 and I'll buy a few things. Like last month, Gord, we did what? We did the Black Lion chess keys. We just went and did that, and because it was fun. I mean, we were trying to, we were playing a little shell game, trying to find the Eternity Sword. What is it? The Sword of Eternity?
Elemental Sword.
Yeah. So we went and did that, and that was fun. We laughed at each other. That was a good time. And I personally love the fancy gliders. I like weapon skins. I like the weapon skins. I have fun doing that, and it supports the game. And as long as they keep it this way, I'm gonna continue to give it an A+. That's what I'm gonna give it.
Okay. Cora is bursting at the seams, and we will unleash her from her scarf.
Oh my god, I can talk about the thing. Okay, I love the gem shop. I do. I love the gem shop. In the real world, I hate shopping. I hate it. Shopping for clothes. I hate shopping for clothes, for shoes, even going to Target to pick up like toilet papers and I don't even, I'm not a fan of shopping. I do not like it. You put me in the gem store and I love it. I love the gem store. I love shopping in the gem store. The crystallized dragon wings, I think it's fantastic. I haven't bought it yet because I haven't been spending a whole lot of money.
I bought it.
I haven't been spending a whole lot of money this past year because of personal life issues with being unemployed, with being on contracts, with having to really manage my money. I haven't had a lot of extra money. So I'm looking at all these pretty things that I'm like, well, if I had enough money to put aside to pay off bills and for savings besides living paycheck to paycheck, yeah, I would totally be spending more money in the gem store. This is why I've been doing a lot of like trades on Twitter with like, hey, I'll draw a picture of your character in exchange for this gliders that I really want. Because I honestly am like, I can't afford all the things that I want. So I find ways to get them. But I love the crystallized dragon wings. I think that goes perfectly with my dragon bash wings that I have. So someday I will get the crystallized dragon wings and I'll be glorious. I love that they do so many sales. So part of me is like, I can just keep an eye on that crystallized dragon wing, and at some point it's going to go on sale and I can buy it on sale. So I love the fact that they do so many sales. So if there's something that you like and you can't afford it now, just keep an eye on the gem shop. Wait for a sale. It's probably going to go on sale at some point. I like that they're bringing back old toxic dye, or the old dye kits, so you can get them again and get them on sale and get new dye skins. I love the dyes, so I love that they brought back the toxic mantle and gloves because they're armor, not outfits. I love that they have the pirate stuff. I love that there are pieces of armor. They don't make a full outfit. I wish they would make a full outfit. But I just love that you have these pieces that you can build into your armor set. Bram's Wolfborn outfit, Jory's outfit, Kaz's outfit, Timey's outfit. These are great new outfits. Did Rox have a new outfit? I can't even remember.
I think she did, but it didn't release.
Did they put it in this? Was it?
I thought they did release the Rox outfit.
No, not
Am
her.
I wrong?
Not her revised.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, Timey's outfit was great. Bram's outfit was great. I loved Marjorie's outfit, and I love Casimir's outfit. I haven't bought a single one of them. I don't know that I will, because their first outfits that they released from, what was it, season 2? They weren't released as outfits. They released as armor sets. So I was so excited, looking forward to them releasing the new armor sets, and then they did them as outfits. And there's parts of the outfits that I'm like, I really wish I could take these shoes or this jacket and mix and match. And I can't. It's the whole outfit. And so that's a little disappointing for me, because they release so many outfits. Why can't you have done them as an armor set? I would have paid more than the normal amount of gems for an outfit. I would have paid more for an armor set. So I just can't see myself buying them. And I have a lot of outfits already. And I generally only use the outfits on when I'm making a new character, on a low level character, because I'm not going to constantly upgrade this piece of armor and that piece of armor and try and look good. Like, I'm just going to toss on whatever armor that is the next highest level as I level my character, and I look like a disaster. So I throw on an outfit and suddenly I look well and put together. So that's where I was disappointed. I love all the new minis. I think they're so cute. For people who collect minis, it's great that they're putting so many minis in there. I don't buy them because I have 3 minis now, and I just can't see myself ever wanting a different mini. My NG, I run the red panda mini. I love red pandas. They put that in the game, and I was like, oh my god, this was the only ever mini they added. It was like, if I could only have one mini, this would be my mini. I have the plushie griffin that came out with the first Winter's Day. I love griffins. It was my college's mascot. We make jokes about my school being Griffin, Hogwarts, and being Gryffindor house. So griffins are special to me. So I have the little plushie griffin, and I thought those were the 2, only 2 that I would ever really need if I wanted to switch out for something. I've got a few others, like the Halloween ghost or whatever. And then they released the mini owl griffin as something that I could earn in game, not something I had to buy from the gem store. I think I'm done. like my heart is so full that with these 3 minis that I don't think I have any room for a mini Savonier whatever. I'm not going to run mini Spawniers. I'm going to run Griffins and red pandas. But I think it's so cool that they put so many minis in there. And maybe someday they will put another mini where I'm like, oh my god, I thought my heart was full. And then they added this amazing new adorable mini that I must have. So keep adding minis. I don't have any problem with that. Adding new hair colors is great for people who love constantly changing the look of their characters. I don't. And I shouldn't say I don't. When I build new characters, sometimes I don't like the way I first built them, especially Sylvari with their hair. So I'll buy the makeover kits and I'll redo them with hairstyles and colors. So that's cool, but it's not something that I feel like a necessity to buy right now. But I think adding those new colors, adding the new hairstyles, eye colors, I'm all for it. Keep adding more. I don't see any problem with that. Raven Spirit Glider. Oh my god, I love my Raven Spirit Glider. I love my Raven Spirit Glider. It's so pretty. I'm so glad that they did that. I think they should do more Spirit Gliders because they're just so cool. I love it when its wings flap. Guys, it's so big and its wings flap and it's so pretty and you can change some of the colors and they look great and it's just so fabulous. I love that glider. It's horrible to play with in the last living story. I was trying to play with it and I'm like, I can't see anything. I can't see what I'm supposed to be targeting. So I had to switch for my Mersat armor, the Mersat backpack wings, and it's still great. I love them. I love gliders. I think they're fabulous. Keep making gliders. That's probably where they get my money, is from gliders. And Gord is like, oh my god, make her stop talking.
Great.
I love that they're putting in weapon skins because I've talked before. I don't get Black Lion chest tickets. I don't get drops of scraps or tickets. So all those really cool weapon skins in the Black Lion chest, I can never have. But when they put things in the gem shop, I can buy them, guys. I can buy them, and then I can have really cool weapons.
I wish y'all could see Cora's animation like we can see over here.
Jesus.
So,
All right, great.
um,
Wrap it up, kiddo.
I'm. Hey, I couldn't talk about the other things, so I feel like I'm allowed to go long on this one. I am torn between giving it a straight A+ and giving it an A-, just because I want to see more armor sets. Like I said, I would pay for more armor sets, but I don't know that that's right to mark them down on that when that's just me being like,
Mark it however you want. That's how it goes.
I'm gonna go A- then.
So an A.
Just because I'm like ArenaNet, I would legitimately pay. I'm like, what do you want? You want 1,600 gems? I'll give you 1,600 gems. 1,800 gems? What do you want? What do you want? I'll give you more gems. 2,000 gems for an armor set. 2,000 gems sold. Like, just give me some armor sets that I can buy, please. Please give me some armor sets. I'm done.
All right. So tally.
Like, my heart is like racing now from talking about it. It's just
I guess so. You've been moving around like crazy.
I probably, if I checked my Fitbit, it was like, did you do aerobics?
Your camera was bouncing upside down because you kept hitting your desk as you were bouncing around.
Oh boy.
Gem store. So pretty. So many pretty things. Oh man. If I had money to toss around, then yeah, I would have been buying all the outfits that are currently there and all the gliders. But having to very closely watch my money this past year means that, yeah, if I have to make that choice of, well, I could buy every outfit that comes out, or I could buy like groceries. Or I could, like, even if it was just like, okay, well, I could buy the one outfit, but like, how often am I going to use that one outfit? Like, I like the way my NG's armor looks. I like the way my Revenant's armor looks. Do I want to cover that armor up? No, not really. I would have been more willing to buy a full armor set for one piece of the armor that I could have gone, okay, I do like how my Revenant looks, but these boots are fabulous. So I'm going to buy this full armor set.
These boots are fabulous.
And just swap out the boots. Like, that's how crazy I am.
Don't tell me about anything else but the boots. I gotta have the boots. Just give me the boots.
Oh, shoes. Boots. I love boots.
Almost there.
He's still working. Oh my god. So yeah, so that's where
We're filler. Fill. We have to fill things.
I don't know. Like I said, just more armor sets. Just more armor sets.
You know what I did buy from the guild, the gym shop last week? I bought a chain whip sword. I've been wanting the chain whip sword for like 2 years.
I think I bought
missing the sales.
I think I bought it full price when it first came out.
Yeah, I kept missing the sales, and I finally picked it up this last round. It was on the gym shop last week. In fact, I bought it the night we did the thing.
Yeah, you had mentioned.
That's the night I bought it because I told you. Remember, I told you. Mm-hmm. I just bought the chain whip sword. I finally gave in and got it.
I mean, it's a pretty cool one.
I haven't used it yet. I haven't decided which tune is going to get Le Chain Whip Sword.
Have you seen it in action though?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
so I'm trying to decide who's going to use it first. It's probably going to be my Guardian. I'll probably put it on my Guardian because I'm using Sword and Shield right now.
Mm.
So I may put it on him. It's currently in Gallios' pocket though. So I don't know. If I play a Condi Ranger, I'll probably use it. Otherwise, I don't use it very much.
Condi's meta.
Yeah, I know Condi's meta. You know how I am about that. I'm actually doing a meta build on my alt with my Guardian, the burn meta. It's actually kind of fun, but you die quick.
I mean, that's with all of my builds. I mean, I'm not saying I run burn, Condi, anything. I'm just saying they're fun, and then I die quick.
All right.
Talk to me, Gord. Talk to me.
So the overall winner score is a B.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not horrible.
Nope, that's about where they started last time.
Yeah, not horrible.
So, just on a side note,
Oh,
every update that we have had since December 13th has had a gem shop update. So
Yeah.
it used to be that it was one gem shop update and then a regular content update, but not anymore. So just want to point that out. That's my salt.
It's okay. Little of SEO.
All right. So that's going to do it for the winter 2017 scorecard. So ANET gets a B, and we will be right back. And we're back. So that was fun.
Was fun.
Yeah.
So
a lot of laughs.
Yeah. So I wanted to do nothing but talk about the new Living Story chapter, but that'll be next week because we do want to kind of respect the good old no spoiler
window time.
But what we are going to do is I just felt like waiting 2 weeks and recording, it would be, another 2 weeks. And by that time, Flashpoint would be 3 weeks old before we finally got to talk about it. So we are entertaining the idea of doing a show a week from this week and then going back to a 2-week cadence. So we just have to finalize a couple things. So keep your eye on Twitter and we will update everybody when the next show is coming out. Episode 40.
Ooh.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Yeah. Boy, everybody's so excited.
What?
So everybody's so excited.
I know. I was just thinking,
40 episodes. I'm just kind of floored that we've gotten this many.
Yeah, like when did I mean, you guys have done 40. I mean, give or take one you missed. But I came in at like 14, 13 something.
14. Our first lore special. So
yeah, and I was only supposed to be a special guest. I was not supposed to be back.
Yeah, you knew you were coming back. All right, so Gallios, do we have any shout outs from the Gallios?
Do we have shout outs? I have got shout outs. I mean, I've been gone for a month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got some shout outs. Some of them are general shout outs. I will start though with the 2 reviews we got on iTunes.
Either of them put myself or Cora down?
Negative.
Yay, you can read them.
Negative. The first one is by a near and dear follower of the show, Shelby Me. Says, fantastic podcast, gives us 5 stars. This show has evolved and it just keeps getting better. You will not find a more in-depth source for lore speculation and overall discussion of the game, where it is and where it could be. This podcast would be incomplete without any one of the 3 hosts. They manage to play off each other in a way that keeps you entertained and laughing along with them. I even enjoy listening when someone goes off on a quote-unquote tangent, as they say. Keep the great work, and thank you for putting this together for us listeners. Thank you, Shelby. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Shelby. That was really nice.
And the next one is, okay, I'm going to try to say it without screwing it up, but it's La Polypi says 5 out of 5 podcast, and they also give us a 5-star rating. Just started really getting into the game for the first time, and this podcast has really helped. Best I've found. That is extremely high praise considering our other friends who do fantastic podcasts themselves. So we really appreciate that. It's really, really great to hear that we're helping new players. Don't forget, any of you guys that are listening, that we also take requests. And we do try to fit them in some form or fashion. If not immediately after hearing it, we try to get it in there as soon as possible. So let us know what you want to hear. Let us kind of cater to you if we can.
Yep.
I also have some personal shout outs that I simply just have enjoyed these wonderful people over the last few weeks. So I'm just going to say hello to, I'm sorry, I have to get them all lined up. I'm going to say hello to Token or Reese McTavish. Thank you so much for the banter. You've been in our Discord recently and have been talking with us quite a bit. Really enjoy the conversations back and forth. I also want to shout out to AJ at Coffee and Quests, who has also been doing the same. Thank you very much. Glad to have you aboard. Both of them actually joined our guild too, so I thought that was really awesome. And I also want to shout out to Dystopia, who thought I had an awesome Ranger build that I made for him last Saturday. So I hope that's working out for you, Dystopia. Need you to tell me how that's going and let me know if the old builds still are viable. So thank you to all you guys. It's great hanging out, great talking.
All right, Cora.
Where do I start? First of all, shout out to Gallios for playing with me the other night when we were getting the achievements. That was a lot of fun. And also shout out to Romo for being the mesmer that portaled me to the top of the jumping puzzle because I can't jump. I cannot jump. So thank you so much for your help with getting that. And then shout out from Twitter to MMO Inks and Kit the Traveler and Boots, Bootts, at World of Enders, because about a week ago, Inks asked a question just in general, like, hey, are there snakes in Tyria? And Angelica hopped on and tagged me with, hey, do you know? And what followed was me going crazy. And usually, like, go look up the thread. It's only I mean, by the time this is out, it'll be like 2 weeks ago. But I went kind of crazy. Instead of just answering, yes, there are snakes in Tyria, I did like a 6 post long chain on Twitter of like, here's why we know there's snakes in Tyria. And Boots was like, oh my god, 1 of 6? This is why I follow you, Cora. Instead of just being like the simplest answer of like, yeah, there's snakes in Tyria, I had to have 6 separate tweets of here's all the different reasons why there's snakes within lore.
That's awesome.
And me and Angelica were just going back and forth with the gifs of like mic drops and me being like, do I know? And then like snapping my finger gifs. So that was just a fun thread of me going a little overboard on what shouldn't even be like, is this lore? Oh yes. It's lore.
Awesome.
Yeah. So those are my shout outs.
Yay! I have a shout out as well. I want to give a shout out to Mentatgola. I hope I didn't butcher your name. At the Mentatgola on Twitter. And I will read the tweet that they sent me. Looking forward to the next SOTD podcast. And please, Gord the Norn, bring the salt. Stay true. Some of us like the salt when it's constructive. So thank you for reminding me of that. And also a shout out to Kit the Traveler. Angelica, we are recording on her birthday.
Whoop, whoop.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, and Kit does a lot as far as shouting out to all the podcasts. There's actually 8 or 9 podcasts covering Guild Wars 2. So Mo, if you want word of mouth, I put 2 requests in for an interview, buddy. Word of mouth right here.
I mean, no offense, Gord, but if I was Mo, I'd be like, I'm not letting that guy interview me. Like,
dude, if Mo came on the show, I would literally kiss the man's butt because he did develop. He was one of the founding fathers of Guild Wars 1, which has filled 12 years of my life. So, but yeah, jokes aside, I did put in 2 requests, ain't I?
well, Well, you can, if you're going to come to PAX this year, maybe you can get in on the Guild Wars party, and then you can shake his hand and be like, "Thank you for making the game."
I would be afraid to walk into the ANAP party.
Why? It's so much fun. I've gone the last several years. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I have one more shout out if I could find it. My Twitter's
And I missed one. I missed one as well.
bad. Throw it in there. Buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Another shout out to Rusty Teague, my fellow homeboy from the state of Louisiana. Rock it out, Cajun Cujo. Was that kind of lame? Sorry about that,
No.
Rusty.
No, no, it wasn't lame. I can't find it. Damn it. I hate Twitter. Like, it goes... I didn't think it was that far back. Okay, so my second shout out is going to be Like a Kitty at The Kitten Theory. I really was sad when you left Twitter, and I really am happy that you're back because I love your soul, and you think I'm an optimist. Okay, and the last shout out I have is to Alco. As soon as it loads, at Alco00227, Alex Cook, for tagging me and Kit in a tweet and the tweet was, "When you get your girlfriend into Guild Wars 2 relationship goals."
Oh,
Congrats
yeah.
to you guys, man. I wish I
That's
could do
awesome.
that. I could
Congrats,
play a lot
dude.
more. All right, so I think that's gonna do it for shout outs and the show. So Gallios, where can the good people get in touch with you?
At Gallios_GW2 on Twitter. You can hit me up on Discord at Gallios #3334. Or you can hit me up in game at Gallios.8142. Don't be a stranger.
And Cora, where can the good people get in touch with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Guild Lores. You can also find me on Instagram and Tumblr and Discord and basically any sort of social media. Just look for Guild Lores, and there I'll be.
All right. And if you want to get in touch with the show, you can reach us at sotdpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow the show on Twitter at _podcast. And you can get anything SOTD podcast at sotdpodcast.com. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Gord the Norn on Twitter. You can get me in game at Gord.a654. And you can get me on our Discord, which everybody is welcome to join, at Gord #4133. Yeah, that's it. So,
Boom.
Last closing announcement. I made a reaction video of me playing Flashpoint and my reaction to it, which some people are dreading to see, but some people might want to see it. I will admit on air right now, I did know Lazarus's identity before I played. A couple people approached me, and I did say, "Please spoil me," which they did graciously. And they gave me the who, but they didn't give me the how. And to me, the way my mind works, the how is more important than the who. So I wasn't spoiled too badly. But the reaction on the video is real. And if you played the story, you will know why. And if I have enough time to edit it this weekend, I will. But I have a 3-hour podcast to edit, so I'm not very hopeful. So
Should we be worried that this is a little spoilery, that some people might not know that Lazarus is a who?
yeah. Well, I mean, you've had a week, so
Yeah.
I'll spoiler tag it when I post it, but it will be up on my YouTube channel. And I'll have a link to it out on Twitter, and I'll put something up on our Discord and stuff. So yeah, swing by the Discord. I was surprised a couple people kind of came in and were like, "Oh, well, I'm not part of your guild, but I wanted to say hi." And I was like, "Okay, well, you're a member now." And they're like, "Really?" Yeah. The Shadow the Dragon podcast Discord server, our guild utilizes it because it's easy, because we kind of commingle with the listeners of the show who didn't really join the guild with our guild. So we utilize that for both. So everybody's welcome to join our Discord. Just a note. So, all right.
I mean, they let me in, so.
Yeah. Anybody would let you in anywhere, dear.
Oh.
You're our sweetheart.
Yeah.
Look at her blushing. Look.
All right, so that's gonna do it for the show. Say goodnight, guys.
Good night, guys.
Oh, we lost you, Cora. We lost you, Cora. I wish I knew what she was saying.
I know, because she's extremely animated.
I can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can you hear us? I can't hear you. Fix it. She was like going off. Oh, we lost her on Skype.
Oh, Skype disconnected.
It was my Skype. We have detected an issue. Exit, restart Skype.
You know, I thought we
It was
were
so
going to need
funny.
to do a voiceover thing like those NFL videos.
She was
Like,
so
What?
animated. And
were
I have
just-
no idea
were
what you
going
said.
off.
Where did it get cut off?
I don't even know.
You went, he's got the...
Okay, what was I saying?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. I was talking about how you're in denial, and it's like
that's
writer.
it.